When silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Wednesday, December 14th, 2022. 10 years ago today was the Sandy Hook anniversary. The Sandy Hook school shooting. Today's the 10-year anniversary of it. 2 years ago today was Sandy Lindsay getting the first shot in the nation for COVID-19. And man, do I have a bad troll today. This no-caller ID, you guys, if you saw my stream this morning, this guy was calling through the whole show. This guy has been calling me all day. He finally took a break for like the last 2 hours, and now the show starts. He's just going to start calling again. Paid for trolls that just harass all day. I have to figure out how. I got to call my phone provider and say I'm not allowing any more no-caller ID. I mean, sorry, guys. I just have to vent about what a loser this person is out there to just sit there and just dial my number like literally all day long. God. Anyway. 10-year anniversary of Sandy Hook shooting, 2-year anniversary of Sandy Lindsay getting the first COVID shot in U.S. history. And then, of course, last year we had Steph Curry set the three-point shot record, beating the Yukon product, Connecticut, like where the Sandy Hook shooting happened, Ray Allen. And that was at the same time Mayor Bill de Blasio was telling people to go out and get their third shot. And we also have another strange thing going on today, tornadoes in the New Orleans area. But the thing that's captivating the minds of the world right now is, okay, I just got to hide my phone. The thing that is captivating the minds of the world is the World Cup. And of course, people have been asking about the World Cup all year, and I've been giving people the same response all year. Well, it's the first ever World Cup in December. And it's one day after Pope Francis' 86th birthday, the Argentinian Pope. And he's a huge football fan. And in 86, Argentina won the World Cup. And again, if you follow me on Patreon, I did put out my notes before the tournament began for what I thought the World Cup championship would be. And Argentina was the team that I centered it around. And the two scenarios I had was either Argentina versus England in tribute to the Queen, or Argentina versus France in tribute to Pope Francis, the first Jesuit Pope, where the Jesuits are from France and he's from Argentina. And again, the France one made a lot of sense because France goes into this World Cup 2-1 all time in the championship, meaning if they do lose to Argentina, they will be 2-2. And this is the 22nd World Cup. Of course, we're in the year 22. Today, Morocco's Cinderella story came to an end, staying on 22 points in the World Cup. If you look up the all-time World Cup standings, there's win, losses, draws in points. A win's worth 3 points, a draw's worth 1. But the other thing, remember Diego Maradona, the Argentina football player great, who died November 25th, 2020, who died in Tigre, which means tiger. Again, here we are in the year of the Tiger, and now his team's in the championship again. And what's amazing is from the day he died, November 25th, 2020, to the day Argentina advanced to the championship was exactly 107 weeks. And in Gematria, Diego Maradona equals 107. And again, if you're new here, Gematria is the simple practice of coding numbers into words. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, up to Z, the 26 is 26. If you add up the letters, Diego Maradona, 107. 107 weeks after his death, his team's in it. Of course, he wore number 10. Like Messi wears number 10. 10's the fourth triangular number. Argentina's trying to become the fourth team to lose the opening match and win the World Cup. There's 3 teams that have done it today. Argentina would be the 4th. You might recall that 4 days after Maradona died, Diego Maradona died, 4 days after his death, Messi won his game with Barcelona 4-0. We were talking about the significance of that back in 2020. And yeah, of course, over the weekend, you had the death of Grant Wall, the football journalist. And again, if you're new to this channel, we talk about how once a month there's a kill date, and there's always a big 44 ritual on the kill date. It's because the date numerology is 44. The word kill has a gematria of 44. So does the surname Wall. And Argentina, when you take the alphabetic order with numerology, equals 44. Argentina won the World Cup 44 years earlier against Netherlands. Grant Wall was working the Argentina-Netherlands game when he dropped dead, being pronounced dead on the 44 date numerology, the kill date. And like I wrote about before the tournament began, 44, huge number with Argentina because their manager's 44 years old. The name of the stadium where the championship will be held has gematria 44 like Argentina. Also, Qatar equals 78, just like how Argentina won in 78, which was 44 years ago. That's the year they beat Netherlands. And they also won in 86, like how Pope Francis turns 86 on December 17th. So I saw somebody leaving a lot of comments in the chat before the show started. How does this have anything to do with Pope Francis? Are you saying because France is in it? He lives in Italy. Like, if you're a real person out there leaving those comments, people like you who have like really small intelligence and no clue about anything and don't even recognize that he's from Argentina or that he's the first Jesuit pope and the Jesuits are from France, you represent the person who's out there leaving those comments, those clueless comments. You represent why these people are able to get away with the rituals they get away with every day, because they know it's a society of morons who know nothing about history, nothing about nothing. All they know are designer fashion brands, don't have a clue about anything else. Just consumers with no other thoughts in their heads. Just embarrassing. Just filling up my comment section before the show even starts. What's this got to do with Pope Francis? Well, first of all, I've been talking about it all year, buddy. Second of all, if you got with the program and signed up for the Patreon, you could have put some money in your pocket. So again, you guys, this knowledge applies to the entire world because English is the language of the world. Again, the Catholic Church that runs the whole show, they're credited, again, the Catholic monk Berfurth of the year 1011 AD is credited with the oldest known English script. And again, we're on a Catholic calendar that was established in the 16th century, the same century the Jesuits were created, the same century that English was standardized with the spellings and vowels we use today. You learn this code, you see how this is how history has been operating by the numbers. As you always hear, all roads lead to Rome. Think about who gave you the Colosseum. Who else would you expect to be rigging the World Cup? And again, for all the people who always come here and leave their comments about how it's not the Jesuits running the world, it's the you-know-who's, again, wrong. If that was true, you know, the World Cup would be in tribute to Netanyahu, but it's not. So, again, you guys, gematria, the premier knowledge to see through the Premier League and a whole lot more. And then just the rituals in today's games. You know, the rituals in today's games. The first goal scored at the 5th minute against Morocco, the team with the 5-pointed star. Yesterday, Messi becomes the all-time leading goal scorer in the 34th minute for Argentina. His name in gematria equals 34. And go back and read what I wrote about his game where he won 4-0 4 days after Maradona's death. It was all about 34, you know? And again, Diego Maradona 107 weeks later, here he is clinching his berth to the World Cup, the first ever one in December, when the Catholic Church has everyone celebrating the Messiah's birthday at this time of year, even though that's not the biblical time. But now we got Messi the Messiah. And I love watching the guy, man. He's so short, his jersey looks like a nightgown. By the way, you guys, there is somebody in this community who claims to be the greatest decoder, and they embarrassed themselves because they said England would win the World Cup, and I don't even think they had Argentina in the conversation. But I'll tell you who's the best football decoder in the world. He's in the chat right now. Well, depending on what stream you are, Script Unveiled. I mean, this guy puts out short, powerful videos packed with numbers that are undeniable. and his videos are usually 2 minutes long. Always great information. The other guy who's always talking about how great he is, he streams for 3 hours at a time and says absolutely nothing. So, and by the way, he also said to me months ago, Zach doesn't know how to decode international football. Well, guess what? My World Cup prediction was right on. Yours was a big whiff. So anyway, shout out to Script Unveiled. Great work again. And he's been just putting up killer tweets, killer video posts, undeniable information that should blow everyone's mind. And thanks to Script Unveiled, I didn't even realize that points were a thing in the World Cup. I thought that was a hockey thing with points, but football's got points too in terms of international football. And, you know, just one of the things that was going against Argentina's opponent, who they just defeated, they stayed on 44 World Cup points, losing to Argentina, who again won it 44 years ago, who equals 44 in Gematria, who's now playing in the championship stadium that equals 44. And again, France has a big fat 22 going with them. And again, Morocco stayed on 22 today. And also shout out to Rambo. Rambo will be joining us after the break. And, you know, Rambo last week did a decode on the Morocco-Portugal game, Morocco-Portugal. And what did he tell you? He told you about the battle of the three kings in history between Morocco and Portugal, which Morocco defeated Portugal in, just like how Morocco upset Portugal in the game right after Rambo gave us that brilliant presentation. And by the way, with regards to Morocco, there's actually a connection with Diego Maradona. So sometimes I wish information wasn't passed on to me, but really I do appreciate it, because I did warn people yesterday. I thought it was looking like it was lock city for France and Argentina once England was out, and it pretty much was. But somebody did give me a really interesting piece of information yesterday, and I started to hum and haw if Morocco could actually upset France today. And look at how amazing this is. Diego Maradona did a charity tournament for COP22, you know, the climate change thing that they have once a year. And remember, COP26 was how we saw the Queen was going down. You guys might have saw my video with the Queen, where I played the song Cutie Pie when they announced that she was too sick to go to COP26. And I said, her obituary is just far off. And of course, I played the music to Cutie Pie, if you remember that one. But because isn't she just the cutest thing there ever was? Old Queen Lizard. But again, Diego Maradona did a charity tournament at COP22 in Morocco. And Morocco has that gematria of 107 like Diego Maradona. And their season ended exactly, or this World Cup season, I should say, it ended exactly 107 weeks from his death, just like France advanced. France advanced over Morocco, and of course, Argentina advanced in the 107 ritual too, but Morocco also used to be a French territory, so it made sense for those nations to meet. And if you go back and read about Diego Maradona doing that at COP22, he was there for the 40-year anniversary of the Green March, which happened in Morocco. It's now 7 years since he did that. So it's 47 years since the Green March. What does France equal in Gematria? When you run the alphabetic order forwards, France equals 47. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, France equals 115. And today, France advanced over Morocco 115 days after the King of Morocco's birthday. And it's just like Croatia, who just got beat by Argentina. Argentina just advanced over Croatia 44 days after the president of Croatia's birthday. And we were documenting these rituals with world leaders and their teams throughout the entire tournament. Just like here in the United States, when the 13 stripes went out. We went out exactly 13 days after Joe Biden's birthday with a score of 1-3. Game after game, every time I looked, I said, wow, look at how it's synced up with the leader of the nation. And if you think about what that means, it means exactly what I've been saying for all these years. Just like how we told you that the election was rigged for Biden. The same thing is going on all over the world. These leaders are installed like they're pawns on a chessboard, because the person who's playing the chess game, they got their next 30 moves planned out, and they know what pawns need to be in what position for the next planned ritual, including what that nation's World Cup's going to do in connection to that world leader. And I mean, we just proved that through the entire tournament, game after game. So that should show you definitively just how rigged it all is. And again, if there's anybody out there listening tonight who's getting so offended, please do call in and let's hear it all. Let's hear about how the games couldn't possibly be rigged. Let's hear somebody make a clear argument about how these games couldn't be rigged as we continue to call the futures. I don't even know anything about international football. I just know the way they rig things by the numbers. You know, Pope Francis's birthday, every last sporting event has been synced up with the Pope. Here's the latest. And it's just the most blatant, too. This is the sport he actually cares about. Now his native country plays France, the home of his order. It's just, I mean, this is just a slap in the face, you guys. It's just a big old slap. And RIP to Grant Wall, who won't be here to write about it. But, yeah, if you guys do want to call in, the number to call in is 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. We might go overtime tonight. It is a call board, so it's first call, first serve. When you call in, you can listen to the show through your phone. Again, this Wednesday night show is done on TFRlive.com. I also stream it on YouTube, but I cannot control the commercials. There are short commercial breaks every 30 minutes. All of that's out of my hands. TFR is pretty much a listener-supported radio show with minimal advertising, and pretty much all the speakers on the network, such as yours truly, do it voluntarily because we have a passion for sharing information and trying to wake up the world. That said, most of the other people on the network are still in the Trump bandwagon and can't figure that out, but hey, they mean well. So anyhow, let's go out to the callers. Again, 213-233-3998. And Rambo's first in line, but we'll wait because Rambo usually wants to go right after the break. Another friend from New York is on the line. There's about 7 people on hold, so if you do want to be a part of the show, now is a good time to call 213-233-3998. And let's go out to New York. 347, you're on.
Hello, Zach. You can hear me, Zach?
Yes, I can.
You can hear me? I'm outside. You can hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me make it quick. I was just thinking about this DJ's Twitch dude. They said that, his cause of death, gunshot wound. They say the case is closed, and it said that the motel was 14 minutes from his house. You know what 14 means? End, right?
Sorry, who's this?
The DJ Twitch, the DJ.
Oh
Twitch
yeah,
guy.
So you guys, that's another thing in the news today. Ellen's DJ from the Ellen DeGeneres show is dead. Remember earlier this year, Ann Hesh, the life support plug was pulled on her on Ellen DeGeneres' 201st day of her age, 201. Now her DJ is dead from her show, 201 days after the last episode of the show. I covered that this morning on Gematria Effect News 25 if you missed it. For all you guys who follow me on Gematria Effect Sports, this channel had been suspended for the last week. It just came out of suspension today, so you might have missed out on some of the sports content that I would have normally put up. It's over on Gematria Effect News 25. Of course, we smashed 35 Thursday, Monday Night Football, all the things I would have normally updated you on. But yeah, go over and check out the video on the death of Ellen's DJ in the latest 201 ritual. He's dead at 40. DJ in Gematria, just run the alphabetic order in first. DJ 40. And of course, 201.
How's the case closed? How did he know somebody? Why would he go to a hotel 14 miles? He could walk 14 miles from his house to the hotel. The Oak Tree Hotel? No, the Oak Tree Inn. That's what it was called.
I'm surprised they didn't say he hung himself at the Oak Tree. I'm surprised they didn't say he hung himself at the Oak Tree. Yeah, this year started with a whole bunch of suspicious suicides.
There's a reason why you went to that hotel, the Oak Tree. I didn't think you do the Gematria on the Oak Tree. Did you do the Gematria in the Oak Tree Inn? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, anyway, they said he died from a suicide, and he died on 47 date numerology, where suicide's 47. We documented that pattern a bunch at the beginning of the year. But again, just since this is really about the World Cup and Pope Francis, just to bring it back in, again, he's dead in a big 201 ritual. Remember, Pope Francis is the first Jesuit Pope, the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican. When you write out the Jesuit order, it equals 201. When you write out his birth name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, it equals 201, just like Ignatius Loyola. So it's not hard to see who's rigging at everything from the World Cup to this man, Ellen DeGeneres' DJ's death, and then they falsely reported it as a suicide. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind he was murdered. So,
but I like how you say the case is closed. How the case is closed? That's it. It's case closed.
I'll just remind people who put out the song "Murder by Numbers." Who put out the song "Murder by Numbers"?
The man dancing with his kids in the house and stuff. He dancing in his $4 million. They had to make a point. $4 million house. You know what four is? Four is death. So $4 million home, 14 miles. You see the numbers they put in it? The 4, the 14, and the 40. It's like it's just too much. It's just too much, Zach.
Yeah. It's just the same stuff day after day. And like we said, I mean, Ellen's 64 right now. He's dead 44 days before Ellen's upcoming birthday. Kill equals 44 forward, 64 in reverse. And then he's dead on his wife's 311th day of her age, which is the 64th prime.
And she's 34. She's 34 years old, or her 35th year of life.
Like,
take your choice.
And again, 34 equals murder, and 34 is the 9th Fibonacci number, and all the articles written about it said that they just celebrated their 9th anniversary of marriage.
Ninth is completion.
Exactly.
That's it. I just had to make that point. They say the case is closed.
Yeah. But the point I was making is, again, the police did the song "Murder by Numbers," and we always see it's the police that are just writing these seemingly false causes of death. The case is closed. It's a suicide.
But one more thing, Zach, before you go to the next caller. They gonna say he had mental illness, but how the fuck this man had mental illness? This man was dancing in videos with his wife and kids up to this point. Come on, man. People gonna believe, he had mental illness and problems. That's what they gonna say. And he had no mental illness. Ain't nobody gonna be dancing with their kids and stuff right before Christmas and stuff and kill themselves. You want your kids to think, my daddy killed himself before Christmas. Come on, that's some BS.
It's obvious BS. And you know what song I heard on the radio today? A song that came out about 20 years ago. Cypress Hill, Rock Superstar. I think everybody should go back to that song and read the lyrics to that song. There's another song that's spelling out what's going on in the world of celebrity. I mean, it's just clear as day. I was like, I haven't heard the song in a minute. And man, he says it all in this song. So.
All right, Zach. I'm waiting to see what Rambo got to say. I know Rambo got a good topic tonight.
I'm guessing it'll be the World Cup. We'll see. All right. Appreciate it, man.
Zach. That's it.
All right. Have a good night.
All right.
Okay. Let's go out to 409. 409, what's up?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, I just wanted to say thanks, man. Everything I learned from you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm just listening tonight.
All right. Well, I appreciate you tuning in, and thanks for the compliment. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right. Have a good night. All right. Let's try out Binghamton, 607.
What's up, Zach? I just have some quick little factoids I wanted to state. The Panthers, the Carolina Panthers, their first season, their inaugural season was in 1995. They lost their first 5 games of the 95 season so that they could win their first game on October 15th, 1995, which is the birthday of the Black Panther Party. The Black Panther Party was established on October 15th, 1966. So the Panthers' first win of franchise history comes on the 29th birthday of the Black Panther Party, and football equals 29. But there's more. Their second win comes the week later on October 22nd, and October 22nd is Bobby Seale's birthday. And Bobby Seale was the co-founder of the Black Panther, Thiel and Huey P. Newton were the two founders of the Black Panther Party. So the Panthers won 4 in a row. After losing their first 5 games, they won 4 in a row, and each one of them has a distinct Black Panther Party connection. So I just went over the first one was on October 15th, the Black Panther Party's birthday. Their second win came on October 22nd, which is Bobby Seale's birthday, a founder of the Black Panther Party. Their third win in a row came against the New England Patriots. They won the game 20-17. In Gematria, New England Patriots equals 217. Like Huey Percival Newton in the same cipher equals 217. And to finish off their 4 games.
All right, we got to go to a commercial break. We'll be right back, everybody.
Same type, but not the big fan.
Now, there's 2 ways to ask. Ask with intelligence. It didn't say ask intelligently, but I'm sure it meant that. Don't mumble. You don't get anything by mumbling. Be clear. Be specific. Intelligent asking means how wide, how high, how soon, when, what size, what color, how much. Define what you want and describe what you want. That's powerful. Goals become like a magnet. They pull you that direction. And the better you describe them, the more they pull. So ask intelligently. Here's number 2. Ask with faith. That's the childish part of the equation. Believe you can get what you want like a child, not an adult. Adults are too skeptical. So the formula really reads, make plans like an adult and believe in them like a child. And the most incredible things will happen. Just try it for 90 days.
Extendivite is more than just a heart tonic. Do you have any of these symptoms? Night cramps in the hands and feet. Your arms and legs often go to sleep. On short walks, do your legs get aches and pains? Is your memory worse than it used to be? Ankles that swell late in the day? Has your blood pressure increased lately? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, you may have early warning signs of arterial blockages. Your body is saying that it is time to take Extendivite. These are not the normal signs of aging. They are the warning signs that accompany blocked arteries. Get your Extendivite today. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Hey everyone, it's Mark Sargent from Strange World, broadcasting live every Tuesday evening, 10 to 12 Eastern, 7 to 9 Pacific, right here on True Frequency Radio. Strange World covers a wide range of topics, from enclosed world theory to lunar waves to the end of the world in film. It's basically doomsday with a silver lining. With the audience as my co-host, we take an optimistic approach to all things conspiracy and promote confidence, hope, and humor whenever possible. If there's a topic you want us to cover or a guest you would like to see interviewed, please email me at msargent23@comcast.net. So please join me and tell your friends about True Frequency Radio, the leader in real radio programming, bringing you quality, cutting-edge broadcasts from around the world.
You're listening to the True Frequency Radio Network.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker, and it is that time for Rambo to shine, and we'll see what he's got this week. How you doing, friend?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, thanks again. All right. Yeah. So my post is titled "The World Cup: The Spider and the Color Purple," and it hits on several themes that I've been talking about, which these are like occult themes, symbolism, because as we talk about. The events of the world are scripted, and I talk about the various mystery traditions and the esoteric principles that are used to script the world. And the World Cup is especially relevant because it is the most popular event, especially in sports worldwide. And I give this example all the time, that GDP, gross domestic product, and productivity worldwide always goes down in the month of the World Cup. It's every 4 years. It's soccer. If you're not familiar, it's soccer. These are the national teams of various countries that qualify, and productivity goes down worldwide during this month. Because, again, you might not be aware of that if you're in the United States and you focus more on American phenomena, but because it isn't that big a deal in the United States. All around the world it is. Then life pretty much stops for the World Cup. Such is the importance. So when you talk about ritual and magic and manipulation of consciousness, which I talk about all the time, which is why they use these mystery traditions, they're ancient. You go back to the dawn of civilization. So the very same principle, the astrology and the numerology. We line things up with allegories, ancient allegories. Even from the dawn of civilization, they've been doing this. And so you have a high concentration of the human population, their energy focused on one location for 1 month. That is prime time for magic. So some of the themes I've talked about that they use, which I've been talking about in my posts for the last several months now, since Queen Elizabeth died, I'd say. And one of them is the spider theme and the color purple. So the movie The Color Purple was directed by Steven Spielberg. It was a book written by Alice Walker, and it was made famous in its cinematic adaptation, and it was directed by Steven Spielberg. And Steven Spielberg ties in here because his birthday is December 18th, which is the date of the World Cup final, which will be this upcoming Sunday, December 18th. And in the final is Argentina, and I had spoken about the significance of the color purple, and I thought that purple would be significant in sports. And it started with the Minnesota Vikings being the first NFL team to win. The National Football League has been playing multiple games, very meaningful games, regular season games.
Rambo.
In London.
I think that's what you meant to say. The first team to win in London this year.
Oh, yeah, what did I say? I guess the first team to win.
So just so people knew exactly what you meant. The Vikings were the first team to win in London this year. Again, for people who forgot, the Queen died on the opening day of the NFL season. The Queen City Buffalo won. They beat the defending Super Bowl champions. For people who don't know, the Queen only watched one American football game in America in her life in 1957, and then she dies on the opening day of the season that will conclude with Super Bowl 57, and England equals 57. And so Rambo has been on this purple theme. Oh, okay, Rambo, you're good.
No, thank you. I didn't realize that I misspoke. But, yeah, so Minnesota were the first NFL team. And just for people who aren't familiar, this is a yearly, it's not even a tradition anymore. These are regular season games. Before, the NFL used to just play exhibition games in London. Then it escalated to just one regular season. Now it's like, what, is it 3? I think regular seasons. Now there are multiple regular season games, meaningful games. And I think that's part of the reason it used to be 16 games, so you had 8 home games, 8 road games. I think part of the reason they added a 17th game is because of this, how important this London game is. So therefore you could play in London and not lose a home game. Because in the past, one of the teams that played in London had to take London as their home, but it's really a neutral game. You lose your home field advantage by playing in London as the home team. And this is just to stress the importance of this London game. That's why they added that extra game. Now you have a 17-game season. You still have 8 home games, even though you're the home team in London. Such is the importance. And Minnesota is significant. You know, you have Prince. The most famous person from Minnesota is Prince. He died on Queen Elizabeth II's birthday. And I've talked about how purple is the color of royalty. You have in the United States, you have the highway I-35. It starts in Laredo, Texas, in the south, and runs the width of the United States and ends in Duluth, Minnesota. And it's called Purple Heart Highway. And again, and it ties in with the chakra system, which goes with the colors of the rainbow. The highest chakra, the 2 highest chakras are the Ajna chakra, the third eye chakra, and the crown chakra. And the crown, those are the 2 purple-colored chakras in the chakra system, indigo and violet. That's why Minnesota is associated with purple. It's because it represents the chakra system in I-35 highway. That's what it represents, the spine. And the I-35, which is called Purple Heart Highway, it ends in Duluth, Minnesota at the intersection of 26th Avenue and London Road. I mean, what are the odds of that? We know what they're indicating there, and we know what 26 is. And we had that bridge collapse on I-95. That bridge that collapsed in Minnesota, that was part of I-35. And I think what that represented was the third eye. They were collapsing the third eye. That was the ritual to prevent, because the opening of the third eye gives you awareness, which they don't want. They want people as, you know, controlled slaves. They want to deny human sovereignty, and opening of the third eye is one way of seeing past the control system. That's what that ritual was when they collapsed that bridge in Minnesota. It was part of I-35, Purple Heart Highway, which is part of the chakra system. That's why Minnesota's purple. So yeah, so Minnesota was the first to win in London after Elizabeth's death, and I thought that was the first indication of, you know, purple might be significant here. Well, yeah, again, the movie The Color Purple, directed by Steven Spielberg, and his birthday is December 18th, which is the day of the the World Cup final. And I stress the importance of the World Cup. So I'll get to that later, but also another thing I want to stress, because sometimes they like to, ahead of time, they'll telegraph things in code. They'll send you the clues. It's up to you to notice. And so FIFA, which is the world governing body that puts together the World Cup, FIFA, FIFA, it's a Federation of International Football Associations. That's their name. Well, they put out a really nice little high production clip. It's mostly animated. It's very, you know, it's really well done. And it had this kind of typical theme, unity, world unity, you know, but it had a lot of deep esoteric themes. It had birth themes and everything. But the key to this clip, this was released, I think, like 3 months before the World Cup or so. I'm showing, you should see the visual here. The visual is very important here. If you haven't seen it, you can just look up World Cup animated. I think that's, just do a search on YouTube, World Cup animated clip or something, animated feature. It'll come up. This visual is very important. This is the clip I took is from the end of the video by FIFA. Again, this was put out like 3 months before the World Cup started, and they're in an imaginary football/soccer museum, and decorating in the background in the museum are balloons of sky blue and white color, and those are the colors of Argentina. So it's almost like if you're celebrating a birthday, or when a team wins, you know, you see the confetti, like the Super Bowl. Yeah, the confetti is the color of the team colors, and you have balloons, which are the team colors. Well, there are balloons, celebratory balloons, in this at the end of this feature, which are sky blue and white. Which kind of reminds me of a couple of years ago when the NFL put out that picture on social media of all the NFL quarterbacks. It was a cartoon. All the NFL quarterbacks were at a Christmas party. They're all wearing their jerseys and jeans. And only 2 quarterbacks were not wearing jeans. They're actually wearing their pads and their uniform pants. I believe it was Mahomes and Jimmy Garoppolo, I think it was. And that was a clue. That's how they send out clues. And people look back and say, look, they sent you the clue there. They told you who was going to be in the Super Bowl. FIFA has done the same thing here. With we don't know yet. I mean, Argentina is in the final with France. That may not be the case, but this looks like it could be an indication by FIFA of who is going to win. They have these celebratory balloons in the background, and they're in Argentina colors. This was 3 months before. So, again, it's the final. They haven't won yet. The final Sunday, they're playing France. So, you know, there's no guarantee, but this could be an indication. And so there's the spider theme as well. which I've talked about. And I've been talking about this since Queen Elizabeth II's funeral, where a spider appeared on her coffin near her crown. And yeah, I've done a lot on the spider theme, and I'm really a huge thanks and shout out to just multiple contributions from the audience, commenters to my videos. Even last week, somebody called in from Charlotte to talk about. So it's really ongoing. People are continuing to see the prevalence of the spider theme. I don't know. Last week, somebody from Charlotte called in. I think they're from Charlotte, but they talked about the Carolina Panthers have a player who he celebrates with the Spider-Man celebration, and how he ties into Queen Charlotte. You know, there's the famous spider from Charlotte, named after Queen Charlotte, so Charlotte, North Carolina. That's why somebody from Charlotte is doing a spider celebration. So yeah, so this is it's very widespread. And again, Queen Charlotte was the queen at the time the United States gained independence from Great Britain. She was also the queen at the time of the War of 1812, and war has been a theme. You know, Ukraine and War of 1812, Revolutionary War, Revolution, the planet Pluto. Oh, you want to say something?
Go ahead, Rambo. I clicked on the wrong thing. Accident.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I'm talking about the spider. So the spider did show up at, and it's focused. Like every major newspaper focused on this spider. So I mean, even if that was a real spider, so what? A spider showed up, maybe one or two comments, but no, they made it a headline. And you know, highbrow papers like the Washington Post had headlines of the spider on Queen Elizabeth's coffin. So obviously they wanted us to focus on it. I'm not going to tell you why, because this is all esoteric, this is occulted. But to those of us who are aware of that, that's why I focused on this. And you know, I've been seeing a lot of the spider theme. And I gave an example of how the spider Queen Elizabeth's funeral was already coded or telegraphed or predictive programmed with the release of You Should See Me in a Crown by singer Billie Eilish, a song which featured, you know, the cover art of the song featured spiders on a crown, just as it was with Queen Elizabeth. And the video was, I mean, it beyond like dark occult. I mean, no one can see that and say, oh, that's just art. There's some pretty dark, disturbing things going on in the world, in high positions like, you know, Hollywood. This is what's influencing, especially young people. With Billie Eilish, with spiders all over. Literally, this is not special effects. She had a tarantula in her mouth. And the crown theme. So just, you know, when you see Queen Elizabeth's funeral, you think back to this, and it did line up with the funeral, as I showed, because when you take the date that You Should See Me in a Crown was released until July 18th, 2018, to Queen Elizabeth's funeral, which was September 19th, 2022, it was okay, I made a mistake here. It was actually 4 years, 2 months, 1 day, which is 421. And that is Queen Elizabeth's birthday, April 21st. So that was coded into it. You can't deny that. And so multiple people in my comments pointed out that the movie Arachnophobia, and arachnophobia means the irrational fear of spiders. The movie Arachnophobia was also released on July 18th, that same date. I didn't realize that. Multiple people pointed that out, which just added to the decode. So July 18th, this relevant day apparently to the spider theme. And
Rambo, I just gotta interrupt. So I always love what you do, but I notice like you never emphasize the points about how Jesuit it is. Because again, are we in disagreement that the Jesuits run the show? I mean, look at what day it came out on, 18/7. It's harder to find a bigger number to the Jesuits than 187. Again, I think it's important to emphasize this point unless you're in disagreement, because again, all roads do point to Rome. The calendar, the language, the rituals, syncing all this stuff up. I think it's important to emphasize that it's the Jesuits, it's the Jesuits, it's the Jesuits. Again, you found this song, You Should See Me in a Crown, 18/7, 187, Society of Jesus 187. Again, you guys, here we are today on the anniversary of the death of George Washington. What's really interesting about this date, December 14th, is if you write out December 14th, it equals 187. If you write out 12/14, if you spell it out as words, 12/14, 187, just like George Washington's 187, just like Washington, D.C.'s 187, like Society of Jesus is 187. And again, George Washington died during a medical procedure. He wasn't supposed to die. but this is the day he went out. And we know this day is just full of Jesuit rituals. The town that got hit by the tornado today, guess what the gematria of the town is that got wasted by the tornado by Louisiana today? 187. And when was the first act of weather warfare admitted to? On the Jesuit order's birthday, August 15th in the UK back in 52. So anyhow, I just seeing that, I just got to point out, I say, well, speaking of those Jesuits, there's July 18th. So what do you think, Rambo?
Every time I mention the Illuminati, I say that the Jesuits are who they're referring to.
Okay.
And I constantly talk about the Congress of Wilhelmsbad, which was in 1882, which is when the Illuminati came out and admitted to thoroughly infiltrating Freemasonry. That was at the castle of Meyer Amschel Rothschild. And I always point to that event, and whenever I mention the Illuminati, I say who the Jesuits are. The Illuminati. I literally say that every time that I mention Illuminati. I say who they are and who it refers to.
Okay, that is true that you do that. I just notice a lot of times I don't interrupt him. It's like he can make the point about the Jesuit number right there. That's a big Jesuit date. That's a big Jesuit number. Anyway, just since, again, that's the point I'm trying to pound home to all the people out there that think it's some other group or can't acknowledge that it's the Jesuits. Prove who it is then to all the other people out there if it's not the Jesuits. Again, the calendar, the language, this stuff all goes back to the Catholic Church. Who else would be using the calendar ritualistically other than the people who created it? So anyway, sorry to interrupt, Rambo. I'll zip my lips for the rest. You got the floor.
Oh but that's why we have multiple people looking at. Not everyone can notice everything. People come at things from different angles. A lot of what I mentioned, nobody else mentions. And I understand that because everybody looks at it from different angles. And the things I mentioned are crucial, are important patterns.
Indeed.
And I understand that not everybody notices everything, which is why we work together.
Indeed.
You know, which I don't mind you interrupting because you can add to what you see, which I don't bring. Just like I bring a ton of stuff. I wonder why nobody mentions this. Well, I figure if no one's mentioning it, then, I'll mention it. So, yeah, that's why we work together on these things. We're both,
Indeed.
All right. Everything. Yeah.
All right, you got it, Rambo.
All right. It's an important date for the spider, apparently. And so July 18th on a non-leap year. Also, it's good that you mentioned the Julian calendar because that's also going to be relevant to this decode. It does come up. So July 18th is the 199th day of the year. And 199 is like the date 19th September, which is the day of the funeral when the spider was on Queen Elizabeth's coffin. So there's a synchronicity between the spider at the funeral and the release will be spider-related works of art. So the World Cup is now at the final stage. We just had the semifinals on Tuesday and today. And today, Argentina, which I don't know, when I saw they had I get so many helpful comments, I can't remember. I like to give shout outs, but sometimes I just can't remember who told me. So whoever the person is who alerted me, because they jumped on the purple jersey by Argentina before I realized it, I'd like to give them a shout out, but I'm sorry. I guess there's so many commenters, I can't remember all the names. I usually will screenshot someone's comment and their name so I can shout them out, but whoever it was, somebody did alert me to the fact that Argentina was wearing a purple shirt, which this is why that's significant also, is that in the World Cup, there are national teams, and most teams wear the colors of their national flag. That's the only place where you could you have a little room for other colors might be for your change, because you got to wear two strips, obviously, a home and away. Sometimes for the away shirt, you can go off, script, so to say, different colors, but there's no country in the world that has purple in their national flag. There just isn't. There's not a color that's used in national flags. So it's rare that a national team will wear purple. So it was very significant. Why? I've already brought up purple. Suddenly there's a team in the World Cup that's wearing purple. And so this person brought it up and said, look out for Argentina, they're wearing purple. I wish I could remember who if the person remembers, a shout out to them. But so Argentina did win the semifinal. They're in the final. That was on Tuesday. And they beat Croatia 3-0. So there's a new star that has hit the stage for Argentina. Now, most people, even people who aren't into soccer, know that Lionel Messi, he's considered the GOAT of soccer. This is his last World Cup at his age. And there's really, he just won the Copa America, which is the title just for Latin or South America. But he's never won the World Cup. Well, and he's from Argentina. Argentina's where the Pope, you're talking about Jesuits. Well, we had the first openly Jesuit Pope. You know, maybe there probably were other Jesuit popes, but they didn't admit it. But this is the one who's openly Jesuit from Argentina, and the Argentine flag has a similar logo to the Jesuit, what they call the Christogram, the Jesuit sun logo, the 32 rays, the alternating straight and wavy rays. That's the logo on the Argentine flag. So it's appropriate that the first openly Jesuit pope would be from Argentina. And the final is the day after the Pope's birthday. So yeah, so there's a new star. Lionel Messi, of course, he's the GOAT of football/soccer, but a new young star named Julian Alvarez has kind of hit the scene here. So Lionel Messi scored one goal with a penalty. It was Julian Alvarez who earned the penalty. He got fouled to earn the penalty, and then Alvarez himself scored 2 goals. So he was the star of the show. Now he's like, the world of soccer now focus on Julian Alvarez, and this is where I said, where you mentioned about the Julian calendar. This is where it ties in. Julian Alvarez. I mean, in English it's pronounced Julian, but Julian, it's Julian. So yeah, so Julian is the star of the show now for Argentina. And I give an example of a headline: future superstar Julian Alvarez steals World Cup show in Argentina's win. Yeah, just to give an idea of how he's, the flavor of the month. But along the lines of what I've been talking about, Julian Alvarez's nickname is the Spider, or the little. I showed one. This one website calls him the Little Spider. It's in Spanish, spider is araña, arachne. I've talked about Araneus. You have Charlotte the spider in Charlotte's Web. Her name is one of the species is Araneus cavaticus. There's Charlotte A. cavatica. Araneus comes from Latin, so araña. So that's a little spider. Julian Alvarez is the spider, apparently. So he continues on with the spider theme. And so, again, so how does he connect to Queen Elizabeth, the spider? Let's start on this theme with the spider at Queen Elizabeth's funeral. Well, he plays in England. He plays for one of the biggest teams in England, which is Manchester City. And he was just signed this year. In fact, they signed him on his birthday. His birthday is January 31st. Manchester City signed Julian the Spider Alvarez on his 22nd birthday. And this is the year 2022, and it's the 22nd World Cup. And the movie Arachnophobia had a $22 million budget. So how appropriate for the $22-year-old player named the Spider. Arachnophobia had a $22 million budget, and he signed for Manchester City in England on his 22nd birthday. And now he's a big star at the 22nd World Cup. So 22, very much a big number of the Spider and Julian Alvarez, and this movie ties in with this movie, Arachnophobia. His last name is Alvarez, which sums to 1307 in the Jewish or Latin cipher, also called Agrippa cipher of English gematria. Alvarez, 1307. 1307 is the 214th prime number. And 214 is 214, which is Queen Elizabeth's birthday, 214, 21st April. Again, and that's the name Alvarez takes you there. Also a reminder of when You Should See Me in a Crown was released. It was 4 years, 2 months, 1 day before the funeral, so like April 21st. So there's the Spider Queen connection, again to Julian Alvarez. Also, so 62 is a big number here. Queen sums to 62. Crown sums to 62 in gematria, very famously. Queen Elizabeth, she accessed the throne on 6/2, which was 6th February, and her coronation was 6/2, June 2nd. There's a mistake here with the graphic here, but so 6/2 is a major queen number. Well, Julian Alvarez, the Spider, his next birthday is 6 weeks, 2 days after the World Cup final. So that fits into the Queen Spider theme, and Julian Alvarez, again, he plays in England, connected to the Queen. Now, there's going to be a remake of Arachnophobia. Again, I wish I could shout out again. Someone else pointed me to that. It's hard to keep track of all the names, but whoever pointed that out, they shout them out. Arachnophobia, there will be a remake, and the remake was announced on June 2nd. And again, June 2nd is the anniversary of the coronation of Queen Elizabeth. And that's when the remake of Arachnophobia was announced 6/2. So there's this connection between, for whatever reason, the royal family and the spider theme. And again, July 18th, it was the 119th day of the year, 199th day of the year, 199, like 19th September. His name, Julian Alvarez, stands for 199. So yeah,
a commercial break real quick. We'll be right back.
This is iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio makes you want to move. When you have a great melody, a song lasts forever.
Instantly connected.
I love it when the beat goes.
Did you know you can listen to Truth Frequency Radio on iHeartRadio? Just download the app to your smart car, smartphone, or smart TV and get the best of TFR wherever you are.
iHeartRadio.
I'll see you there.
So, you love talk radio, then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
We can't allow bad things to happen to our country. And bad things are happening to us, perhaps like never before. You'll be seeing what goes on, and perhaps like never before.
We are looked upon as not very smart. We are looked upon as not very smart.
Oh, shit, we failed. Shit, we failed. They may allow me back. So I walk gingerly. That ramp was long and steep. I said, General, I might have to grab you.
Brother pussy.
They made that a big story, but they didn't make a Biden fall. The triple fall, the triple fall. I wasn't gonna fall. Dr. Fauci, who I actually got along with, he's a great promoter. Not a great doctor, but he's a hell of a promoter. Fauci said powerfully at the beginning, no masks. Then he went into masks, and then he became a radical master. Look at the world. Look at what happened to the world. And look at the world. It's not just us. It's the world.
We are looked upon as not very smart. We are looked upon as not very smart.
Oh, shit, we failed. Shit, we failed. They may allow me back. Zuckerberg walked into the office in front of numerous people. Congratulations, you're number one on Facebook. The day I was out, he became rather, well, I guess it's human nature. Would you let our country be run by that kind of human nature? They may edit that out. They don't want to have that. They don't like that. They may have to edit that out. The Biden administration seems to be putting America last. There is nobody like us. Nobody has the people that we have. Nobody has the genius that we have. Look at the world. Look at what happened to the world. And look at the world. It's not just us. It's the world.
We are looked upon as not very smart. We are looked upon as not very smart.
Oh, shit, we failed. Shit, we failed. They may allow me back.
You owe
You must unite what is in citizen.
We are TFR, Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back. The commercial really snuck up on us there, so we got interrupted in mid-thought. But do you remember where you were, Rambo?
I was talking about how the name Julian Alvarez is a big star for Argentina now. His name sums to 199. And July 18th, which is the release date of You Should See Me in a Crown and Arachnophobia, those spider-related works, July 18th, in non-leap years, which they both were, the 199th day of the year. 199 is the date 19th September, which is the date of Queen Elizabeth's funeral. So this is how Julian, as again nicknamed the Spider, Julian the Spider Alvarez of Argentina. This is how he ties in with this spider theme and the Queen. And also, this is in recent news. This actually came out December this month, this year. Prince Harry dressed as Spider-Man, but he did an event, a charity event for children of deceased British military veterans. And again, here's the royal family associated with the spider theme again. Yeah, and it made big news. He's dressed as Spider-Man. This is not just a random costume to make the kids laugh. There's more to it. I even talk about the Union Jack, the flag of Britain, the Union Jack. It has 8 legs. It's pretty much 8-legged. It actually is a symbolic spider. They're talking about the British Empire, Commonwealth, a web, World Wide Web. And the royal family has more power than it claims to be on the surface. The biggest landholder in the world, which I'm assuming that Charles inherited it, or several members of the royal family inherited. This is mainstream. He owned 6.6 billion acres worldwide. Billion will it be? 6. I'm trying to calculate how much wealth that is. Different areas. An acre in one area is worth a lot more than the other, but 6.6 billion acres. Some of it is in places like Manhattan. I mean, so you can imagine. So this idea that there's no more British Empire and the royals are just symbolic. No, that's not true. They still have that web, World Wide Web. And I also point out the English language is also it's pretty much the de facto world language. So purple. Let's talk about the purple theme. It's the royal color, and how Argentina wore purple, which was a pretty significant. I already said I think purple. And part of the reason I got on the purple theme was I was back in 2001 when the Baltimore Ravens first won the Super Bowl. That was when they had the Ray Lewis murder. That was exactly a year, 52 weeks. I'm sorry, yeah, exactly 52 weeks after the murders on the night of the previous Super Bowl, 2001. 52 weeks, Ray Lewis was associated with them. The Baltimore Ravens won. That year, 2001, which is the year of September 11th, there was a purple grand slam in the 4 major professional sports, where the Baltimore Ravens, wearing purple, won the Super Bowl. The Colorado Avalanche, and you can debate what color it is. Most people say that's a shade of purple. The Colorado Avalanche won the Stanley Cup. The Los Angeles Lakers won the NBA, and the Arizona Diamondbacks won the World Series. So that was a purple grand slam. And so that's why I got on purple. So yeah, so Argentina's wearing purple. I thought it might be significant. They're in the final. They haven't won yet. Minnesota Vikings were the first NFL team to win in London after the Queen died. They wear purple, and they're doing well. Well, there's another purple team which has been doing well, and that is the Texas Christian in the NCAA football. In fact, they were undefeated all year, and then they finally lost one game, the last game of the season. They finally lost, and it was to a purple team, to Kansas State, who wears purple. But they still have a chance at the national title. Even if they don't, Texas Christian, that's not a dominant name in college football. This is an extraordinary year for them. They're not normally in the conversation. They're not like Georgia or Alabama. Those are household names, not Texas Christian. So the fact that this purple-clad team is, even where they are now, just the fact they have a shot now is an indication that this purple is an indication in sports of success at this time. And so the spider and crown combination is also seen in the Goetia. They're the 72 demons of the Goetia, which are known for Solomon. In legend, Solomon built his temple by controlling 72 demons, and he made the 72 demons build the temple. Well, and they're all ranked 1 through 72. Well, number 1 rank is Baal, or I'm supposed to say Baal. Americans probably Baal, Baal. And Baal has the title of King of Hell. Baal is depicted as a spider, the body of a spider, and the head of a human king with a crown on it. So that's actually the main, when you talk about a spider and a crown, I haven't mentioned up to now, but yes, this is actually the primary association is the 72 demons of the Goetia, who's from, it's seen in the Ars Goetia, it's a grimoire for Goetia magic. That's actually where the main place it comes from. And I think when they have the spider of Queen Elizabeth's crown, this is what they're referring to. They're referring to Baal, the king of hell. And so it's a spider's body, the head of a crowned human king, and then the head of a cat and the head of, somebody's talking about panthers, so this could relate to panthers as well. There's a head of a cat, and then there's a head of a frog. Now, normally you wouldn't use a frog as a logo. It's just not the type of animal you'd use. But Texas Christian does use a frog. They're named the horned frogs. And so, so they tie in with they're named horned frogs, and they're purple. Now, I showed a headline here because Texas Christian, their record, which this is a successful season for them. So they've been talking about their previous great season where they won 16 games in a row. I think it was over 2 different seasons, but their 16-game winning streak, which is their all-time longest winning streak, has been referred to throughout the season for Texas Christian this year. That 16-game, well, in Gematria, Baal, because it's spelled B-A-A-L or B-A-E-L, but B-A-A-L, Baal, who's the king of hell, who has a frog head, they're the horned frogs, Baal is 16. So that ties in with their 16-game winning streak. And you say it's Texas Christian, it's a Christian school, so it's a stretch. Why are you making this connection with, king of hell, a Christian school? Well, they themselves refer to their home stadium, which is the Ammon G. Carter Stadium, as Hell's Half Acre. So they have no problem associating with hell, even though they're a Christian school. They call, no one forced them to do it. It's not a nickname that other people gave it. They call them, their home stadium, Hell's Half Acre. So they relate to hell themselves. So, so that's a purple theme. And Argentina, just to clarify, Argentina will not be wearing purple in the finals because they don't have to, but they're so associated with purple nonetheless because they do have that purple uniform. And then I refer again to this cartoon, which ends this clip with the blue and white Argentina balloon celebration in the background, which is 3 months before. That's the symbols that are prevalent.
Yeah, there's a very familiar pattern that seems to happen almost every year in the college football playoff that once again can play out. And for all the people who don't know what I'm talking about, I know you're new here, but I'm pretty sure we'll be talking about it once again once the games roll around. That old championship number that just seems to show up every year in the winning and losing records in pretty much all championships, and especially the college football playoffs. So, and then just the whole thing about the Christian school having the hell symbolism, to me it makes a lot of sense knowing most Christians. So, anyway. Anything else, Rambo?
No, that's just in general. I can always go more in depth on all of these, the spider symbolism. that's it for today. I mean, there's also with the World Cup. I'm going to do a video on this. I talked about it last week. I'm going to go more in depth in the video on how the Star Sirius is playing. It's a very important role. Sirius will be on the horizon, the eastern horizon, at the time of the World Cup final. And I think it's so precise. So this is the thing that's unique about this World Cup, from people, most people are not familiar with soccer, is it's always held in the summer, always. And the Star Sirius, it's a sacred star. They still honor today. It's not visible in summer. It's because of Earth's position. Because Sirius is fixed, the sun is fixed. I know people dispute that. The flat earthers dispute that, but they're nice about it. They're not, they're not yelling or starting a fight. But you can only expect when you talk about things like this, so you're going to get pushback from flat earthers. But Sirius is fixed, the sun is fixed, and Earth moves to a position around the sun where Sirius is blocked. You can't see, and that's a 70-day period. That's why 70 is attached to the Queen. 76, it all has to do with Sirius. That's why you have the corgi dog. Sirius is the dog star. So normally, when World Cups are held, they're always held in the summer. It is Sirius is behind the sun from Earth's perspective. The reason this is unique because it's the World Cup being held in Qatar, and Qatar is so hot that if you had held the World Cup in summer this year, it would have been unbearable for the players. In fact, initially when Qatar got when they won the right to host the World Cup, they were actually talking about building air-conditioned stadiums. That's actually what they considered. And then they agreed to hold it in winter. So this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The World Cup is not going to be held in winter anymore, unless they decide, oh, that was great, let's do it. But it's unlikely that the World Cup, it's the first time ever. But as far as the astrological part of the ritual, this is very unique for a serious ritual. And you did actually mention last week how Morocco, how they were red and green, those are Christmas colors. Yeah, one of the analogies of the Jesus Christ narrative is where Jesus Christ is symbolic of the star Sirius, and the most recognizable stars in the sky, even for anyone everyone just noticed them right away. It's the three stars. It's Orion's belt. Everyone can notice in the southern part of the sky. Those are the three wise men from the legend of Jesus' birth. The three wise men. Those are the three stars of Orion's belt. And what you do is from Orion's belt, you have to point downwards, usually southwestern direction. Then you'll see a bright star under that, and that's Sirius. So to find Sirius, usually you look for the three star, which are easy to see, and then you see the bright star Sirius underneath it. Those are the three wise men, and it happens on December 25th, because on December 25th, if you take a straight line from the three stars of Orion's belt, straight line down to Sirius, and then at sunrise, it'll point straight to the sunrise. They'll all be in a line on December 25th. December 25th is the first time that the sun's arc starts to increase. Because for 3 days before that, December 24th, 23rd, and 22nd, the sun doesn't move. That's the winter solstice. For 3 days, you have the longest night, or the sun's lowest arc for those 3 days. December 25th is the first, in the morning, the dawn, the first time that the sun's arc starts to increase. So from then on, it increases. And that's why December 25th is considered the birth of the sun. And that's what is behind the World Cup ritual. This is a rare event where you can have a Sirius-related ritual because it's never held at this time. And they're going to take advantage of it. And if you look at, in the tropical zodiac, Sirius is located at 14 degrees Cancer. The eastern horizon at the time of the World Cup final will be at 13 degrees, 59 minutes of Cancer. I mean, that's so precise. You know they planned this ahead of time. So, and that's why you see in the team of the red and green, you point out that Christmas colors. Yeah, that's why that's the Christmas, part of the Christmas analogy. And,
yeah.
So I'll add, yeah.
Yeah, just again, so we all know, this is the first ever World Cup finishing in the time of Saturnalia, which is the Pope's birthday, and Saturnalia has the same gematria as Argentina, 154. Ritual sacrifice is also 154. And when Maradona died, it was 154 days after Messi's birthday. And does Sirius factor in with Saturnalia?
Yeah, I don't know if, I don't think, that I know of, unless I need to study more about the festival itself. I don't think the Star Series that I know of, I mean, maybe somebody else does have that knowledge. I don't know if the Star Sirius is acknowledged. It probably does, but I don't know. It's because at that time, this is the time the Earth is closest to Sirius. So that last week of December, that's when Earth, because again, Sirius is fixed, the sun is fixed, so Earth moves, because Earth's orbit is not a perfect circle, it's elliptical. So when Earth, between the sun and Sirius, that's actually at the point, it's really at the point where Earth is very close to the sun. It's actually, Earth is very close to the sun at that point, but it's also close to Sirius. So there is a kind of a sun, the sun will always be involved in a Sirius ritual. And I don't know, Saturn used to be, there's a belief that Saturn used to be Earth's sun. Saturn is considered the second sun. And if you look at a lot of the characteristics that are given to Saturn, this thing is the god of time, and Saturn regulates time. But well, who regulates time? Not Saturn. It's the sun that does that. But yet Saturn has that title. So Saturn and the sun. I did a decode. My latest video has to do with a Saturn sun ritual. So yeah, in that respect, I think Sirius might be related because Saturn is related to the sun. Sirius has this interaction with the sun, and Earth is closest to Sirius and also closest to the sun at the same time.
Okay.
So yeah, so the time of the year when Earth is closest to Sirius is also the time when Earth is also closest to the sun. So it's interesting how that, right? And Saturn is considered the second sun. So this time of year it is very. That's actually why you have the New Year, because the New Year should be starting in spring, which it used to. It was moved again the Julian calendar. This is Julian Alvarez. So I guess so he's part of it. The Julian calendar. They moved the New Year specifically January 1st because this is when Earth is closest to the sun and closest to Sirius. So again, yeah, that name Julian is a big part of the ritual and the time of year that this is happening, which is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a ritual like this.
All right. Well, very interesting as always, Rambo. Love it once again. Thank you so much, and appreciate all the knowledge.
All right. Thanks again. Have a good rest of the show.
All right. Appreciate that. Have a good night, Rambo.
All right. Take care.
All right, take care. And you guys, I see Rambo's almost to 7K subs. Again, if you guys are not subscribed to Rambo's channel, it is The Truth Codes, and he does really great work. And if there's 50 people out there who aren't subbed, that's what he needs to hit that 7K. So let's hope him do that tonight. Also, if you guys missed it, there's an up-and-coming channel, 40 Central. They had me on this week. And I'll be back on there again. But they're trying to grow their channel if you want to help out 40 Central. A lot of people like the interview I did with them the other night, if you want to check that out. But yeah, support everybody in the community doing the good work. And some people definitely are doing better work than others. And not bragging so much when they don't really have any position or bragging rights. But anyhow, Rambo's definitely no bragger, and his work is brilliant. So please do support Rambo. And like I said earlier, this man's doing the best football work out there. Script unveiled. You guys like football, international football, check it out. Check it out. Nice short videos, right to the point. Mind blowers. Okay. You know what? Something that impresses me every week, you guys, is that I have the same callers every week. Isn't there anybody else in this big, wide world that wants to call in besides the same people who call in every week? I mean, sometimes you reveal those guys are like, Zach's show's such crap. It's the same callers every week. It shows you nobody cares. It's just like, I hate those troll comments because it's like, God, it's almost true, though. Why are there only like 20 different people in the world who ever call into the show? Are we reaching any new people? Or are we so shadow banned that the only people who know about us are the people who found us back in 2016? With that said, let's go out to the veterans. I do appreciate that you guys call in. I just wish there were some new people here. What's up, Michigan?
Hey, Zach, many are called, few are chosen.
Yeah, I guess that's the ultimate quote for what I just asked. Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right, brother. Thanks, man. You have a good night, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes me feel so. It should make. Yeah, there's got to be more of us. Aren't we growing our numbers? Aren't people catching on? You know what? Before I go out to the next caller, I'll tell you something. So today I was at the auto shop getting the car serviced, and while I was there, the game was on, and the appointment took longer than I expected to, and they told me the reason things were going so slow is because everybody called out sick, and they just had a couple guys running the whole shop. So nearly the whole time in the lobby, I got to watch almost the entire football game, and you're in the lobby with strangers, and I noticed one guy was kind of getting disheartened watching the game, and I said, "Oh, you must be a Morocco fan." He goes, "Yeah," and I said, "What made you cheer for Morocco?" He's like, "Oh, they've just, I love an underdog story. Everybody loves the underdog story, right?" And so I get to talk to this guy a little bit, and it turns out the guy's from Qatar. So he said this was the most important World Cup ever to him. He was probably about 10 years older than me. He's probably around 50. And lo and behold, he just happened to be from Qatar, too, where the World Cup is. So he said he was really into it for that reason. And he asked if I cared who won. And I said, I'm not exactly cheering for any teams, but I said I have like a financial stake in the Argentina-France matchup. He goes, "Oh, how's that?" I said, future for France, Argentina. And I said, I advise people in the world of sports gambling on what are smart picks. And I said at the beginning of the tournament, I thought it would probably either be Argentina versus France or Argentina versus England. He's like, "Oh, why would you think it would be those matchups?" And I said, I don't know if you want to know what I know. I said, it might take the fun out of it for you. He's like, "What do you mean?" And that's why it's always weird when you're sharing people new information. But I was like, I said, Pope Francis. He said, "Oh, yeah." I said, his birthday is December 17th, and if you're not aware, he's from Argentina, and he's the first Jesuit pope, and the Jesuits are from France, kind of like Pope Francis. So if it was his country, Argentina versus France, it would kind of be like his birthday present. And I said he's going to turn 86, and Argentina won it in 86. And he's like, "Is it some kind of numerology thing?" And I said, "Yeah, very much so." He's like, "Oh, I don't really believe in numerology." I said, "Here," I said, "since you're asking me questions," I said, "I don't really believe in numerology either, but I see the evidence of how it's used by certain people in the world, like, say, the Catholic Church." I go, "Are you familiar with Diego Maradona?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, of course." I said, "Do you recall that he died November 25th, 2020? He said, "That sounds about right." And I said, "Well, do you recall that he died in Tigray?" And he said, "I think so." And I said, "Well, that means tiger. And here we are in the year of the tiger." He goes, "Oh, yeah." And I said, I teach about something called gematria. I said, "You ever heard of that?" He's like, "What?" I said, "Have you ever heard of Kabbalah?" He said, "Yeah, I've heard of Kabbalah." I said, "Well, in Kabbalah, there's a teaching about letters and numbers. And there's a really simple code. It's just taking the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, up to Z is 26. And I said, what's wild is if you spell out the name Diego Maradona, and then you add up the letters of his name. So D would be the 4th letter. I would be the 9th. So I explained to him, I said, Diego Maradona adds up to 107. And I said, from the day he died to the day Argentina advanced was 107 weeks later. And he's like, wow, really? And I said, this is nothing unusual. So I'm telling about this, and you know what comes out of his mouth after listening to me for a few minutes? He goes, tell me about Kobe Bryant. And I said, see, now you're getting it. I said, now you're getting it. I said, well, Kobe died at age 41, and then the Lakers ended up winning the finals 41 weeks after LeBron's birthday. And then I said, again, I'm telling you about the Pope. I said, well, Kobe died while traveling from Catholic Mass on the Pope's 41st day of his age. And then I showed him how Kobe Bryant, using the alphabetic order with numerology, adds up to 41. And he was just like, wow. He's like, I'm going to have to look more into this. But again, you guys, that's why if you present the knowledge the right way, because he even said at the beginning, he goes, is this a numerology thing? I don't believe in numerology. And I said, well, I don't really believe in numerology either, but let me show you something. See, and because once you give him evidence, then he's like, So anyway, that was the way I watched the France-Morocco game today in the auto shop. Something that I thought was going to take 30 minutes. I was there for like 2 hours. And but it did give me the opportunity to have an interesting conversation. I thought, how strange that this guy's from Qatar. What are the odds of that? I also told him about the Grant Wall thing. Yeah, we talked about Grant Wall. He thought, wow. I blew his mind with the Grant Wall thing too. So, and then I apologized to him. I said, I'm sorry. I said, because I feel bad sometimes telling people about this. I'm like, I'm sorry if you don't like this information. He's like, well, it is interesting, but it's a bit dark. I said, yeah, it sure is. It sure is. So anyway, let's go out to 678 Atlanta. What's going on, Atlanta? Atlanta, you're on.
Hello?
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, man. Damn, I'm actually surprised. I wasn't expecting to be on next, but about the final.
Hold on, my fault. I'm going to come right back to you. It's commercial break. I'll be right back with Atlanta.
Fourth major lesson in life to learn. Learn how to reap in the fall without complaint. Learn to reap come harvest time without complaint. Take full responsibility for what happens to you. It's one of the highest forms of human maturity, accepting full responsibility. It's the day you know you've passed from childhood to adulthood, the day you accept full responsibility. And another note, learn to reap in the fall without apology. Without apology if you do well, and without complaint if you don't. That's maturity.
It's amazing how people have been raving about iAlife all over Facebook. They've been posting their testimonials just because they want to get the word out because it's worked so well for them. If you're not familiar with iAlife, it's a 99% pure CBD oil. But the secret is the synergy between the hemp and the ayahuasca vine, the non-psychoactive component of the ayahuasca tea. We recently received an email from a wife whose husband has Parkinson's. For the first time, he's been able to sleep through the entire night. Another customer reported that they're no longer using NSAIDs because their tennis elbow has been relieved with iAlife. The reports have been phenomenal and much more than we ever expected. Everyone should have access to this. That's why if you head on over to iAlife.com right now and use coupon code TFR, we'll give you $5 towards your order. And we'll even ship it worldwide. That's iAlife.com, AYA life.com.
Hey everyone, it's Mark Sargent from Strange World, broadcasting live every Tuesday evening, 10 to 12 Eastern, 7 to 9 Pacific, right here on Truth Frequency Radio. Strange World covers a wide range of topics, from enclosed world theory to lunar waves to the end of the world in film. It's basically doomsday with a silver lining. With the audience as my co-host, we take an optimistic approach to all things conspiracy and promote confidence, hope, and humor whenever possible. If there's a topic you want us to cover or a guest you would like to see interviewed, please email me at msargent23@comcast.net. So please join me and tell your friends about Truth Frequency Radio, the leader in real radio programming, bringing you quality, cutting-edge broadcasts from around the world.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR Frequency Radio.
All right. That was another unexpected commercial break, but let's go back out to Atlanta. Sorry about that confusion, Atlanta. You got the floor now.
Hey, it's all right, man. Yeah, man, I just wanted to talk about the final game, France-Argentina. I think the clues are tipping over more over Argentina's side because it just started from the beginning, from the get-go when they got Mexico in the group stages. And if you guys do your research on Maradona, he won the World Cup in '86 in Mexico. So if you look at the game, people were expecting like a goal either in like the 36th minute or the 86th. Goals coming in the 63rd, which is probably 36 inverted, but the most important one was the 86th. If you look at the highlights, you'll see the clock running, and it's 86 and something seconds. They put it as 87 on ESPN, but if you watch the game, if you watch the highlights, you'll see it's minute 86 and 20 something seconds. So it was basically minute 86. So that was the first clue. And then the second clue was against the Netherlands. I don't know on Twitter if you people were fussing about a yellow card. They didn't give Messi, and it was because he reached purposely with his hand. I think you could Google this picture. Put Messi handball versus Netherlands, and he reaches purposely with his hand, kind of like emulating Maradona's handball.
The hand of God
that he's famous for.
The hand of God.
Exactly. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. So if you Google that, you'll see Messi going like this purposely, and people were just fussing about it because the ref didn't give Messi a yellow card.
This. See, look at this, you guys. Let's go back to my post from when Maradona died, comparing Messi and Hand of God in Gematria, and now look. Now they're paying tribute to it. Oh my goodness! I didn't even realize this story. I'm glad you put this on my radar. But
yeah, man, it was you know.
Here, this post is from 2 years ago.
But that'd be too obvious if they did that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I think it'd be too obvious for them to have Messi do a hand goal. I think that'd be, they give it away. So what they did is it was such an insignificant play. It was like in the middle of the field. So it wasn't that big of a controversy, but people were fussing about it on Twitter because he could have gotten like a yellow card. And in soccer, if you get a yellow card, you're not off the pitch, but you're conditioned, because if you get another yellow, you can't play as hard with a yellow, because if you get another one, then you get a double yellow. That's a red, so you get off the field. So you got to be more careful. So there's a big difference between playing with no yellow card and a yellow card. So people were just fussing about that, and that was the second clue. So if you look at the third clue, I don't know if you saw that picture with Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi playing chess.
Ronaldo, Messi, chess.
Like a couple weeks ago. Yeah, put Ronaldo and Messi playing chess.
Okay.
So they used Louis Vuitton was promoting, it's a Louis Vuitton, like the chessboard where they're playing, it's a Louis Vuitton case.
Oh, yeah.
So they were kind of promoting the World Cup with that case.
France, Louis Vuitton, France.
Yeah.
Man.
Exactly. So Messi has to win the chess game against France. You know what I'm saying?
And it's just like the Maradona things in tribute to something that happened 47 years ago. And like I said earlier, France equals 47. That was his ritual back at COP22. And then yesterday, again, Gematria, forwards and backwards. France is 115 in reverse. What are the odds that France beats Morocco 115 days after the King of Morocco's birthday? In light of all that we showed throughout the tournament, how these things are all synced up with the leaders of the nations. So.
Yeah, I was listening to Rambo with the color purple. I don't know if you mentioned it, but Argentina, I think, is the only team with a purple jersey. Their away jersey is purple. So, I don't know, man. Just too many clues for Argentina. I would find it very surprising if France wins it, but it's just so many clues for Argentina. I think they're going to go for Argentina.
Well, you know, that again, I knew this whole thing was structured around Argentina and the Pope. So, and again, he's about to turn 86, and like you just said, they won it in 86, and then their game against Mexico, you said they scored in the 86th minute, like Maradona beat Mexico in 86. So.
Yeah, and you got to think, Maradona to a lot of people is one of the greatest of all time, for his generation, and for this generation, Messi's one of the greatest of all time. So they're kind of playing the same role with both of them. They always compare them, and the thing about it is, if you look at their careers and the way they play, I mean, it's the same prototype of player. So if you look at Maradona, he played 2 World Cup finals. He lost one, and he won the 86, but he lost the 1990. If you look at Messi, he lost 2014 final, and now he's playing his second one. So you see how kind of they're emulating the same career. And Messi's almost out. Like, he's 35. He's going to retire soon. So I just find it hard to believe they won't go with Argentina, but who knows? But the clues are tipping a little more over Argentina's side.
And again, just the fact that Messi's 35 right now, Messi the Messiah, when Catholic equals 35, Holy See 35, Jesus 35, right before Christmas, 1225, the square root of 1225 is 35. So.
Yeah, but that's all I wanted to point out. Just, but yeah, man, look at that handball, and then look at the chessboard, the Louis Vuitton. You know, Louis Vuitton is French. Check that out. Maybe you could find something that I didn't see, or maybe people that folks watching the show.
I got something else. You know who was declared the richest man in the world today?
Who's that?
I'll give you a clue. He's the CEO of a certain company from France. Come on, man.
A company from France.
Louis Vuitton CEO is declared the richest man in the world today.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's a big headline today. That he became the richest man in the world officially. Bernard Arnault.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So on the day that France advances, Bernard Arnault is declared the richest man in the world. That news actually broke just before France won the World Cup. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure so many more clues are out there. We just have to keep egg hunting.
Yeah, that's how they do it, man. That's how they do it. So
yeah, it's almost crazy to think how elaborated it is. It's almost hard to believe it's human made. I think there's something divine in it, or something supernatural, because it's just so it's so crazy. Like, the details, it's so intricate. It's crazy.
At the same time, the world stage is easy to it's easy if you control the media to just put whatever information you want out there. I mean, is Bernard Arnault and Elon Musk, are these really the richest people in the world? No, they're not. It's laughable. It's fake information. They're not even the richest people in the world. The richest people in the world are names that you don't even know. Yeah, so I mean, that's why it's easy for them to script a football game and then also have a headline on the same day to pay tribute after they just had 2 of their athletes. I wish I would have known about that, their little Louis Vuitton chess match. I mean, it just this is the stuff that should show people how rigged the game is. I do agree there's a spiritual element to this, and it does seem that there's a magical component, but I mean, a lot of this stuff is easy to manipulate. So
yeah, about the richest people, I don't even think they're talked about. They don't. I think there's a rule that they're not supposed to be public figure. I don't even think they exist on the internet, really, the richest people. Yeah, indeed. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, all these other guys, these celebrities, Jay-Z, Dr. Dre. I mean, it's laughable. They probably laugh at their money. They're just kind of like like a scapegoat for the people. Bill Gates, the richest in the world. That's just for us to believe on a list, top 10 richest, but the richest men in this world are not even talked about. I mean, they don't exist in the internet. We don't know who they are. We don't know their names, nothing.
Exactly. So, all right. Well, great information. I really appreciate your call. Yeah, you gave me some gems there. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Have a good night, Zach.
Yeah, you too. Take care. How about that, man? 2 years ago, we're talking about Maradona and Messi and, how Hand of God and Leo Messi have the same gematria. And then he's becoming the all-time goal leading scorer for Argentina in the 34th minute, like Hand of God and Leo Messi. And then they got a controversial play where he didn't get carded, where he put up his hand like Maradona. You don't think these guys are instructed what to do to go out and recreate history as they pose for Louis Vuitton? I mean, as he's sure to show off his tattoo, I'm sure it's full of all kinds of symbols. Reminds me how Aaron Rodgers put out his first ever tattoo and the photo on the same day that the giant sundial came down there in Georgia, with that connection between Georgia and the Packers, and just Georgia and Wisconsin in general. Brett Favre went from the Falcons to the Packers. What's the Abrams from Wisconsin running for office down in Georgia? Hank Aaron played for the Braves that used to be in Milwaukee that went down to Atlanta, so on and so forth. All these rituals, always paying tribute to history, same stuff, same patterns over and over. But yeah, unbelievable. All right, let's go out to the next caller. It's New York City, 646.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Hey, Zach, this is Script Unveiled.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man. Thanks for calling in. Do you live in New York?
How you doing, man? Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. I thought you were somewhere else. All right.
I mean, the World Cup. What a script it has been, right?
Yeah, you've been doing a great job documenting things.
Thank you. Zach, did you know that Diego Maradona died a span of 86 days after the anniversary of his meeting with the Pope?
Isn't that sick? Man. So he died 85 days after, but a span of 86 days. And again, the World Cup's taking place while the Pope's 85. The tournament's now set in the closing days of him being 85. And then when he turns 86, then we'll have the championship.
Indeed. And of course, Messi is staying in room 201 at Qatar University.
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting to document that. Oh, my goodness.
I actually posted it on my Twitter with the picture they posted on like ESPN right before the World Cup started.
And again, for people who forgot, Argentina was the last team to advance from the stage of 16, and that was 201 days after the manager's birthday on the date the 3rd of December, 3/12, like 312. Pope Francis' birth name is 201 forwards, 312 in reverse, just like the name of his suite that he lives in, which is Suite 201. Domus Sancte Marte equals 201, 312. And again, the last team in the stage of 16 when the Jesuits were created in the 16th century. Perfect scripts.
Right. And also right before that, they played Poland, improving to 201 in the World Cup. And the World Cup this year, 2 wins and 1 loss. And they last met Poland on the day leaving 201 days in the year, June 13th.
What was that match for?
It was, I think it was the last match of the group stage, like you said.
Oh, wait. I'm not a big football fan. So this was earlier this year, Argentina and Poland played?
Yeah, it was December 1st, the last match of the group stage.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got you.
All right. So listen, they played in a stadium 974, which is some kind of it's made of like 974 containers that they're gonna recycle afterwards. But the stadium has a capacity of 44,000 people, and Argentina first met Poland. Actually, last met Poland. Their last meeting with Poland was 44 years ago when they first won the World Cup against the Netherlands in '78. 44 years since they first won the World Cup. It was also a span of 4 months and 4 days before Argentina president's birthday, like 44. And Argentina equals 44, as we know, as the stadium 974. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Indeed. Yeah. Yeah. Great additional research. Yeah. The rituals are never ending.
Remember how they lost to Saudi Arabia in like the first match?
And that was 83 days after the leader of Saudi Arabia's birthday, the big football number for what they said was the greatest upset in football history.
Yeah, that was, they actually stayed on 144 World Cup points in that match when everybody expected them to win. And Lionel Messi got his 144th goal contribution for Argentina. And of course, the World Cup final is on the 144-year anniversary of Qatar National Day. Jesuit Order 144.
Wow. So you're saying in that same game where they lost to Saudi Arabia, Messi got that 144?
Yes.
Wow.
Saudi Arabia broke their 36-match unbeaten run. They last won the World Cup 36 years ago. Pope Francis born in 1936.
The championship has 36-day numerology.
Yes. And, well, about Grant Wall, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
He died at the Argentina versus Netherlands match. At the age of 48, Argentina go to the final of the World Cup with 47 World Cup wins, can get their 48th win.
Wow. Yeah. Again, for people who missed this with Grant Wall, he died on the kill date and knows how his name, Wall, his surname overlaps with Wall, 44 being the key number like Argentina, and he died during the Argentina-Netherlands match, which was the rematch of the championship from 44 years ago. And again, that was one of the things that I loved about Argentina is that they won in 78 because Qatar equals 78, where this year's championship is. So.
Yes, and speaking of 144 about earlier, how Messi got his 144th goal contribution, earlier this year, on April 14th, in 14/4, like 144, we got the news that Messi would play with the name GOAT on his sleeve with his club PSG in Paris, France. And of course, the news came on 14/4, like 144.
Huh. Yeah. Amazing.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But
remind me, Script. How long have you been working with this knowledge now?
I started probably almost 2 years.
Yeah, not even that long. Not even that long. Yeah, you're gonna be real good in this as time goes on. So.
Yes.
Okay, you were saying something else?
Okay. So everybody wanted, like, especially in the decoding community, they said England's going to beat France, but I messed up in this. I fell for the riddle. I did a quick decode, but what I did not notice, which I got after the match, was in the France versus England game, in the quarterfinals, it was 56 days after French coach Didier Deschamps' birthday. Having last won the World Cup 56 years ago, England stayed on 56 points against France all time.
Perfect.
Perfect script. Perfect. And then, of course, France, the Jesuit, the nation that Jesuits were founded in, Argentina as a Jesuit son.
Indeed.
But could it get any better than today when France beat Morocco? And of course I tweeted about this, but so number 22 Theo Hernandez opened the scoring, and of course he plays in Italy for Milan. He scored 22 goals for Milan, and today's a span of 22 weeks after Bastille Day in the 22nd World Cup in 2022. France kept Morocco on 22 World Cup points in their 22nd World Cup match.
Yeah, absolutely perfect.
Killed off the match, killed it off in the 79th minute, 79, the 22nd prime.
Yeah. Perfect conclusion. 22nd World Cup in 22. Okay. I got to admit,
like you said.
Oh, go ahead.
France can become 2-2 in World Cup finals with the loss. 2 wins, 2 losses.
Right. That's what stood out to me. Had the Queen not died, I wouldn't have had any doubts about it being Argentina and France, because just France falling to 2-2 is it's just so perfect for the 22nd World Cup. I'll be surprised if that doesn't happen. So.
And yeah, one last thing. After this match, the star boy of France, Kylian Mbappe, traded shirts with his club teammate Achraf Hakimi, who wears the number 2 for Morocco. He traded shirts with the number 2, but which is kind of confusing because France can go 2-2 in World Cup finals, but they can also become, win 2 out of 2 back-to-back finals.
That's another way to think about it. The one thing that I would say, if it's going to be France, the one thing that's there for them is Maradona died at age 60, and France, I heard, would become the first country to win back-to-back in 60 years. So that's the only narrative I could really see for France.
Also, it's the final is 157 days after Bastille Day, and they can keep Argentina on 157 World Cup points.
Interesting. So, okay, so if a win is 3 points and a draw is 1 point, right?
Yes.
Okay, so a win would put them at 160. I'm going to have to look at more into that number, 160.
A win would put them at 160. If, however, France are on 130 points in the World Cup, if they win, if they take it to extra time and penalties and beat Argentina on penalties, the match will count as a draw, and they can win the championship with 131 points. Of course, championship 131.
Does that mean that France? So if they draw and win on penalty kicks, then France would get plus 1 point, so they'd be at 158.
Yeah, France will be at 131, and Argentina will be at 158.
Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah, Argentina would be 158. Well, 158's big with the Jesuits because of their birthday, 15/8. All right.
Yeah, it can work both ways. Draw.
Okay. You just said France is on 130 points, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
130.
133 is a football number. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That makes things a little bit more interesting. All right.
And I got one last thing, Zach.
Okay.
So basically, Argentina have stayed, after their loss to Saudi Arabia, they've stayed on 24 World Cup losses, and they come into the final with 21 points against France head-to-head. They can get their 24th with a win, staying on 24 losses.
Okay. Interesting. Some things to think about. Okay. Good research.
Oh, I forgot about this one. So Diego Maradona died 26 days after his birthday, right?
Uh-huh.
And after Argentina reached the final against Croatia yesterday, Messi said in an interview that the final will be his last match for Argentina, which will be his 26th World Cup match. And God equals 26. Maradona died 26 days after his birthday. How fitting is it?
Right. Yeah, that's perfect. Game, God, papacy, they're all 26. So.
Yeah. I mean, we've been killing it this whole World Cup.
Indeed. All right, guys, if you're not subscribed to Script Unveiled, I'm amazed, man. It just shows you how shadow banned we are. Everyone says that, like, everyone's following the World Cup. I haven't gotten any good views on any World Cup video. Nobody signed up for, and again, sorry, world, that you missed out on my Patreon notes for the World Cup. You could have made your pockets fat. I know a lot of you could have used it, but it just sucks, man. I hate being this shadow banned. I hate that this work's not reaching people. I hate to see that your channel's not being more successful. You've been doing awesome work for a while now. You're not even at 2,000 subs. You guys go, I mean, for all the football fans out there, go Script Unveiled and see what he's doing, Help become the part of the community, help build up the community. He's doing great work, you guys. So keep it up, friend.
Thank you, Zach. Couldn't have done it without you.
Okay, well, you're doing it without me now, and keep it up. You're doing an excellent job. So.
All right, well, thanks for having me.
Okay, you're welcome. Yeah, have a good one.
Peace.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. You talk about Gematria, you get shadow banned. Technology, man. AI. Keeping the truth seekers down. Let's go out 203. What's up, 203?
Hey, Zach. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah. What's going on?
I don't want to talk about old news, but did you do anything regarding the Powerball a few weeks back that was synced up? It was like a ritual synced up with the blood red moon.
I missed that. I don't even know what happened with the Powerball. You got to fill me in.
Yeah, so basically the numbers that hit are as follows: 47, 56, 33, 10, and 41, which totals 187. And the power play was 19. I think the prize was 1.9 billion. It was like it was probably the largest ever. But
hold on. We got a commercial break. We'll come right back to you. Sit tight, everybody.
This is iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio makes you want to move. When you have a great melody, the song lasts forever.
Instantly connected.
I love it when the beat goes.
Did you know you can listen to Truth Frequency Radio on iHeartRadio? Just download the app to your smartphone, or smart TV and get the best of TFR wherever you are.
iHeartRadio.
I'll see you there.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
COVID-19. COVID-19. COVID-19.
From the state of Washington to the state of Maine, Brownsville, Texas, and the Triple Fork. Today, we speak to this atmosphere. Today, burn this thing. This virus hates heat. You just burn this thing. Burn, burn. I call for a supernatural heat wave straight out of hell. Burn, burn. COVID-19. 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 I'll go. The window. Yeah, I heard the Lord say this to me several weeks ago. Killer, what? You believe me for a heat wave? I walked out in my backyard. I speak to this atmosphere. I call for a strong south wind. I call for a supernatural heat wave straight out of hell. Burn, burn, COVID-19. 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 I'll go. The window. Hey, in May, it hit triple digits. Hey, in May, a supernatural heat wave. Hey, in May, a supernatural heat wave straight out of hell. Burn, burn. Oh, I'm telling you, it gets hot down there. It have a hot down there, man. Turn the air conditioner. It gets hot down there. Hot fire. Man, it's hot. Oh, Lord. My goodness, it's hot.
Wherever you are, make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker, and we still got an hour of show left. We're going out to 2:03. 2:03, you're on.
Yeah, so just talking about the Powerball and how the day that they picked the winner was synced up with the blood red moon, which apparently happens once every, 20 years or something. And when you look at the Powerball logo, it's got the 4 white balls and the 1 red ball. And the fact that the power play number was 19, I know there's something with 19 cycles of the moon, and it's like the 4 white balls are symbolic of the moon. When it's not red, it's white, and when it's red, and that's the Powerball. But in addition to that, the word Powerball is over white balls. The word power is over the white ball, so it's kind of like the white power thing, and it's got that 56 in the winning numbers. And also, I looked it up, and Powerball was established on April 19th, which is basically like the eve of Hitler's birthday. So I just thought that was interesting. I just had one more thing that I wanted to talk about is, I don't know if you've ever done a gematria comparison between...
Hold on. We
Yeah.
got to do better. We're not going to say April 19th is the eve of Hitler's birthday. Hitler is a Jesuit puppet. April 19th is the day that Ignatius Loyola became the superior general, the first superior general of the Jesuits, which is why there's so many prominent things on that day in history, including the start of the American Revolutionary War. So, again, April 19th, a day to know, a day of infamy. All right.
Well, thank you for clearing that up. Thank you. So, another thing, I don't know if you've ever compared Elon Musk and Columbus in the Gematria Native calculator, but they match in 2 ciphers.
All right, hold on. Let's not ever draw a comparison between 2 people because they have the same numbers. Why were we comparing Columbus and Elon Musk? Let's start there, and then if there's a connection that logically makes sense, then it's interesting if the numbers also factor in.
Absolutely. So the connection in my mind is, Christopher Columbus is known as sort of the discoverer of the New World. He's considered like a pioneer, someone who charted new territory. Interestingly, he comes from Genoa, Italy. I don't know how you pronounce it, Genoa, which spells out like Geno, G-E-N-O. And the reason I'm bringing that up is Columbus, in addition to being the new explorer of the New World, is also known for genocide because, during the time of Columbus, there was a genocide of the natives in the new land. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because I know that the number 44 correlates to genocide. And I know that Elon Musk paid $44 billion for Twitter. So there you have the connection of the number 44. And I just think it's something that people need to be mindful of, that he's like considered a pioneer in today's age of like the new world, in a sense, new technology, pioneering to new planets, possibly, that type of thing. And in light of that, if you also compare them in the Gematria Native calculator, they match in 2 of the base ciphers, which I think is statistically pretty rare.
All right, those are interesting thoughts. And then, okay, they also have a gematria overlap, so they could be pioneers, explorers. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and in addition,
I got to let other people get in, but I do appreciate all the great thoughts. So thank you so much. Yeah.
You got it.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good night. And by the way, you guys, Elon Musk, every sleeper's hero, today he's censoring accounts that are tracking his private jet, right? And again, I mean, when you know Gematria, you just get the joke. Remember, he made his offer to buy Twitter on April 14th, 14/4, like 144, like Jesuit Order 144, like what Script was just talking about with the big World Cup ritual in Argentina's first game, where they stayed on 144 points. But in Gematria, private jet equals 144. Today, the story is that Elon Musk censored an account that he said he would not censor. So he just said like a month ago he wasn't going to block the account that kept track of his private jet. Well, today he did. He blocked the account because he said it's not safe for him, for people to know where his private jet is. But anyway, private jet equals 144. So does censorship. So does Jesuit Order. And again, he made the offer for Twitter on 14/4, the anniversary of Lincoln getting shot in the Jesuit plot. And also, he just recently brought Trump back to Twitter 144 days after his birthday. And we've seen a whole lot of that. You know, Trump lost his wife over the summer in a big 144 ritual. I should say his ex-wife. But, of course, 45 years after their marriage for number 45. But yeah, again, I mean, you just learn this knowledge and you just see the puppet strings and you see the silly little rituals that they do day after day. And I mean, it's sad how many people are tuned into Fox News and they're thinking, oh yeah, Fox News is putting out all the truth. Oh, are they really? As Fox News broadcasts to you about how Elon Musk is bringing to light important things with the Twitter files and how, ooh, it looks like the intelligence agencies might be involved in social media. Oh, wow, groundbreaking. The intelligence agencies are in social media. Wow, I never knew that before the Twitter files. I mean, again, this is broadcasting for zombies who don't know anything about anything, and that's all it ever is. And that's why it kills me that there's certain people in our community who are like, oh, well, I really like Jesse Waters. I really like Tucker Carlson. Yeah, if you want to know why the reason the world is where it is today, it's because of people like Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson, who used to be on CNN after 9/11 on TV, calling people conspiracy theorists. How dare you suggest that the United... I mean, Tucker Carlson, again, he likes to rant about how bad the country's become. It's become this bad because of people like him who didn't call out the atrocities after 9/11 when it was obvious that we were being run by whatever we're run by. Demons, psychopaths, whatever you want to call them. Obvious liars and frauds. I don't know, he's 20 years late to the party. Now he can call them out, I guess, because they're Democrats and not Republicans. If you guys didn't watch him back in the day on CNN, he was on a show called Crossfire. He'd debate every day with Paul Begala, who was Clinton's chief strategist. Anyway, let's get back out to the callers. And 435, Utah. What's going on, Utah?
Hey, what's up, Zach? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's going on?
I just want to add one quick thing about what Rand was talking about at the end of his, whatever you call it, presentation. When he was talking about the Earth and the Sun, the point at which the Earth is closest to the Sun is called perihelion, and it's on January 4th. And the point at which the Earth is the furthest from the Sun is called aphelion, and it's on July 4th.
Right.
So I just thought you might find those numbers interesting, the 1441 and the 4774.
Indeed, yeah, great points. Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, yeah, thanks for my view.
All right. You have a good night. Thank you.
Take care.
Nice, short, to-the-point call. And reminds me that once upon a time we had on Truth Heresy when he came out with his Wizard of Oz book. I remember he thought he was going to be on the screen. He got all dressed up real nice. I wasn't doing the YouTube live stream back then for TFR. I was just doing over the radio. But Truth Heresy got all super dressed up to do the show. And he's like, what? We're not going to be on the screen? I was like, it's just a radio broadcast. But Truth Heresy, what he just called in about, Truth Heresy always made those points about those dates. For the person who keeps calling my phone number to call in, please call the TFR line, 213-233-3998. The line's not too long. You will get in, 213-233-3998 for anyone who wants to call in. And for the person who just hung up, you were just the second place in line. All right, 916, what's going on?
Hello?
Hello.
Right on. All right, thanks for having me.
Welcome.
We have DJ Twitch dying yesterday, and with the news breaking today. And I wanted to make some observations on that. Yesterday was Taylor Swift's birthday, and she's just turned 33. And I'm thinking that perhaps the DJ Twitch death was related to Tay-Tay, her birthday, kind of a sacrifice. Tay-Tay is kind of like a mini Rihanna, Taylor Swift, sorry, kind of like a mini Rihanna. Their nicknames are similar, Tay-Tay and Riri. And when Tay-Tay promoted her new album on Thursday Night Football, the broadcast, like promo cut, went to a Fleetwood Mac song, which I think kind of symbolizes that Taylor Swift is like the new Stevie Nicks. And then we had Christine McVie died, and I think that's kind of wrapped that up. Anyway, so Tay-Tay is kind of relevant, kind of like a mini queen. She's like the current queen of pop. And we've got some numbers that match up. Most notably, Stephen Laurel Twitch Boss, his full name plus the Twitch in the middle, 129, like Taylor Swift, 129. But I think the numbers that matter today and yesterday, which on the world stage was the FIFA World Cup, is 3 and 4 or 34. As we have the FIFA ranked number 3, France, and the FIFA ranked number 4, Argentina, advancing to the final. What's his name? Twitch's wife, 34 years old, and her birthday is February 6th, which, if you listen to Rambo, is the Queen's, like when her reign began.
Right.
Big day with Queen, also equals 26. There's some heavy overlap with Stephen Boss, 43, 155, Elizabeth, 43, 155, Her Majesty, 43, 56, Stephen Boss adds the 56, big gesture to a number, of course. But Twitch, 34, Tay-Tay, 34, and DJ Twitch, 34, as number 3 and 4 advance to the finals.
Yeah.
I think DJ Twitch is kind of fitting in with football, both with American football and international football, and Queens. The death date for Lizzie was 9/8, which was 97 days ago, and DJ Twitch equals 97. So the Queen ritual and deaths are continuing, presumably through the Super Bowl, but whatever. And one more little fun fact about Fleetwood Mac and Tay-Tay. USC, somewhat out of nowhere, appears in the Pac-12 finals. And Fleetwood Mac and the USC band have a thing. The USC band is the only collegiate band with a platinum album, platinum, like the Queen. And they recorded that album with Fleetwood Mac. And they played the song on the field. So the USC band plays Fleetwood Mac, and we have Christine McVie dying. It's a different decode. I don't want to drift, but I believe the day of the game. Close enough. Anyway, DJ Twitch, Lizzie, and Tay-Tay coming in with some World Cup too.
Okay, very interesting. Appreciate it.
Right on. Thanks, man.
All right. Yeah, have a good one. Okay. Interesting. Taylor Swift's birthday. I see that there is apparently there was a 2013 interview with Taylor Swift and Ellen DeGeneres that came up again last year. They're saying it was one of the, I guess, unfortunate moments in TV history. I guess it sounds like Ellen was kind of bullying Taylor Swift and got her to break down. I don't know. That is interesting because DJ Twitch was Ellen's DJ. Again, he died 201 days after the last episode. He was the DJ for the show. And just like how earlier this year, Ann Hesh had the plug pulled on her on life support, which doesn't even make sense. How'd she end up on life support? The last anyone ever saw her in the public, she was sitting up, being loaded in the back of a ambulance, you know. And then, of course, the story they put out didn't match the fact that she was sitting up. But 2 201s in 1 year for Ellen. And then he brought up the Queen, who again died 201 days after getting diagnosed with COVID. Of course, event 201 was the coronavirus simulation, and corona means crown. Yeah, it's funny. The draft of the book that was about finished a year ago, I was just waiting for the Queen to kick the bucket. And I was just talking about how that's obviously going to be one of the final touches of this phase of the coronavirus, when the crown transitions. So obvious. Don't forget the Jesuit Order's logo is above the door at 10 Downing Street in the UK. I lost track of where we were in line. Is it your turn, 916? 916?
Yo, it's me again.
Oh, I just came back to you. I made a mistake. All right, yeah, I lost track of line. All right. Appreciate you, friend. Thanks. Great call. All right, let's go out to 480. 480. You're next.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, Zach. Finally, I got on your show.
Thanks
It's
for
pretty
calling in.
cool. First time. I've been following you for a while now, obviously. And I just had a quick question. I don't know if you mentioned it before or not, but sports was one of the things I didn't want to give up on from all the stuff I've been following for 20 years. It was kind of like one of the things I wanted to hold on to, I guess, as a opiate or something. But it's a little too obvious every time I've been watching. So now I'm wondering, because I've met some athletes and this and that, and I don't know, like, how would they rig it? Because I was thinking...
Have you ever listened to my show before? Because literally people have called in 5 million times and said, how do you rig a sports game? And it usually goes like this. I say, well, I mean, do you have any imagination at all? Do you watch the games? I mean, it seems like something that a 5-year-old should be able to pick up on. You have bogus calls from the refs. You have bogus no calls from the refs. You have players laying down. You have players doing the dumbest things ever. I was just talking about the other day how the goalie just like kicked the ball out 5 feet in front of him for no reason, right to the other player who then kicked the ball back in the net. I'm like, well, where's the question of how the game is rigged?
Yeah, that was my... Yeah, no, that was my question. I was saying of my point of view on how I thought that they would, like, the coaches and the refs and the owners are in it, but I don't know if the athletes are. So you're saying the athletes are
They're
in it?
clearly in on it. I mean, it's frustrating watching. I don't know how it looks. It's like you guys are in a coma. Are you guys watching the game? I literally last weekend there was a game where the goalie literally kicked the ball like 5 feet in front of him right to the other team, who then kicked the ball back in the net. And I was like, how can anyone watch this right now and not see how rigged that was? And I was talking about why that guy had to score that goal in that minute in tribute to Pope Francis. That this stuff happens all the time in sports. And everyone should just be going like, why would anyone ever do that? How could the coach ever make that decision? Why would the player ever do that? How are you going to drop that ball? Exactly. How are you going to miss that lay-in? How are you going to... Okay, hold on. You're in control of the game right now, and you're rushing down the court and not using up the clock and launching 30-foot three-pointers? I mean, and people are like, how do you rig a sports game? It's like, God, how do you rig a sports game? Do you guys know how to play these games? Obviously not. Otherwise, you'd be watching going, what the hell? Who'd ever do... How are you paid millions of dollars to play a sport? Hey, I need some money over here to launch a moment. Sign me up for the team because I know how to play the damn game. I might be almost 40 years old, but God, I'm never going to do that. So I don't get where you guys come from with the how do you rig a sports game? I'm like, man, did you guys get out of preschool?
No, I think you misunderstood me. You think I'm pushing back or something. I think
well, you called in and asked how you rig a sports game. Those are the words that I heard come out of your mouth. Is that not what you said?
No, I know, but you didn't let me finish. I was just asking because I missed that part. I was wondering if all the athletes are just the famous ones. That's what I was wondering.
Again, I don't think every player on the field has to be in on it. That's up for debate. I've seen some stuff in the NFL that made me think, God, is every guy on the field in on it? I remember this punt return the other year by the Redskins when they were still the Redskins, and like literally everybody thought it was. They looked like they were playing two-hand touch because he just ran through the middle of the whole team, and everybody just kind of like reached out to touch him, and I was like, so nobody on the team wants to tackle him, huh? It's weird. Looked like everybody on the field on that play was in on it, but that doesn't mean that the bench warmer who's only going to get in there if everybody else dies in the game knows about it. But, you know, I'd imagine that a good amount of the players out there are well aware of the script and what's going on, but maybe not every last player on the team.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I was trying to understand. That makes more sense.
Yeah. All right. Well, sorry for jumping all over you. I just get tired of people calling going, how do you rig a sports game? I'm just like, my God, man, again?
No, it's okay. I know that was the wrong way to start it because I knew it was going to you were going to think, but I was trying to like say my whole point to see in my own head because I was trying to understand just like if it's just the LeBrons and stuff or is it every single one? Because I was always thinking like maybe it's the coaches, obviously, and the refs, and then maybe the other guys are oblivious. But I'm like, I feel like they would catch on to it, but they're just, I guess, good actors then, like WWF.
I think the main reason that people don't catch on is because people are really dumb. Again, there shouldn't be a single person in a NFL football stadium thinking the game's real after Super Bowl 51. It should have been over.
Yeah,
it should have been over.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone should have known that the NFL is a complete joke after they should have known really before that, but after Super Bowl 51, you just got your IQ. I don't even know how to explain how dumb the average NFL fan is to think the game's still real after Super Bowl 51.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So anyway, hey, down where you are, you're in Arizona. Super Bowl 49 was a huge joke. And not to mention, hey, congrats to the winners on Monday Night Football, another big W for us. But of course, the Cardinals fell to 4-9, reminding of Super Bowl 49 that the Patriots won in Arizona. That's where Monday Night Football was. But anyway, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Well, yeah, that's why I stopped watching boxing, like when I was really young. Because I was like, how many times can you get the wrong guy to win? Like after 2 or 3 or 4, you got to catch on eventually that it's too much money that they'll just let it slide. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool,
all right.
Zach.
Appreciate
nice
it.
talking to you.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Have a good night.
Bye.
Okay. All right. I just get so tired of just people being like, how do you rig a sports game? It's just like, good God, how do you rig a sports game? I mean, the only real question is, how can people not see how rigged these games are at this day and age? I mean, it's just embarrassing. And if you guys don't know what happened in Super Bowl 51, go back and watch the end of it. I've talked about it a million times. The most embarrassing conclusion to an NFL game in the history of the NFL. An impossible ending in a real sports league. Impossible. All right, 310. What's up, 310?
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. This is Irving calling in. I don't know if you knew already, but did you know that the coach's name for Argentina, Lionel Scaloni, equals 666 in Satanic Gematria?
I didn't, but that doesn't surprise me. Good find.
And then also from his birthday, May 16th, his 44th birthday to the day of the final is 216 days. And you already know with that.
I definitely had that one in my notes before the tournament began because it's on 36 date numerology, and 36 and 216 are both mathematically connected to 666. And now you found out where his name is 666. Good job.
Well, I want to give a shout out to Strip on Vero. He's the one that I saw him posting it, and he shared it from this channel. Just to let you know, this channel is doing Gematria in Spanish. His name is Resist Control. So just to put it out there, he's doing videos in Spanish explaining the Gematria and sports. And another thing I had was that Italy and Argentina played a game back in June 1st. I actually did a decode on this. And it was it's exactly 201 days from the day of the final, the World Cup final. This matters because this game was made by FIFA. This year, it's the European champion versus the South American champion. So it kind of connects to the World Cup final, facing Italy.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Have a good one.
All right. Appreciate it. Take care. Look at that. Right after Maradona died, Leo Messi was also doing a Hand of God tribute in that game. What do you mean sports are rigged? It's all ritual, you guys. It's so obvious. Oh my God, man. I wish I could get an IQ reduction so I could fit in with the rest of the people that live on this earth. Let's get a call out here from 408. 408. What's going on?
Hey, Zach. So I got a couple things to talk about tonight. The first is the University of Texas men's basketball coach, Chris
hold
Beard,
on. My fault.
suspended
It's
because
commercial break. I'm coming right back to you after the break.
I'll wait.
Sit tight, everybody.
I got a good philosophical statement for you. Life was designed to respond, to deserve, not to need. On this planet, it doesn't read, if you need, you will reap. No, it reads, if you plant, you will reap. You say, well, I really need to reap. Then you really need to plant. Life wasn't designed for the needers. Life was designed for the planters. Life doesn't respond to what we need. Life responds to what we deserve by activity, belief, faith, action, movement. You gotta take a step. So one of the things to make clear when you're bringing somebody on board is say, Mary, if you step, we do these things. If you take 3 steps, we go this, this, and this, and this. And if you do this, we do all of this. But if you don't move, we don't move. It's very important to make it clear. Why? Because everybody needs to pay. Everybody needs to pay. Even if the payment is only token, it has to be paid. Because life responds to deserve, not need.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. September 2018. Extendivite works in keeping my blood pressure in the normal range. I've been using Extendivite for many years now. May 2018. Great product. I use regularly and I rarely get sick. March 2018. This product has relieved what appeared to be angina pain in my chest and shortness of breath after climbing stairs. I'm quite happy about it. February 2018. My husband, son, and I have been using this product for a few months now, and we have noticed an improvement in our joints and blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
We exist in the security and comfort of our worlds. Paved paths, lights, and manicured lawns give us peace of mind that our world has been tamed, and we are its master. But other worlds exist on the edge of our sight. On the edge of our awareness, the shadows move. The woods fill with the unblinking eyes of the nightmares our ancestors warned us about. Some of us have stumbled into these forgotten realms, whether on purpose or completely by surprise. I'm Brent Thomas. Join us on the Paranormal Portal Friday and Saturday nights from 10 p.m. to midnight Pacific Standard Time as we journey into the world of the paranormal phenomena.
Enter the Paranormal Portal if you dare.
We are TFR.
My fleeting destiny is all I need to prevail.
Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. I'm going to go out to 408, and then we have a gentleman who's been in the room for a minute who wanted to come on the stream. I'm going to put him on next, and then we'll go to the rest of the callers. But first up, it is 408. And what's up, Evan?
Yes, I've got a couple codes here to talk about. The first is regarding the University of Texas men's basketball coach, Chris Beard, who the other day was in the news for, I think they said like he allegedly choked his wife or something like that. I don't quite remember who it was that he allegedly choked. But anyways, it was on the news that day because of 66 state numerology. Chris Beard equals 66, Texas equals 66. He's currently 49 years old. The team that they were playing was Rice. Rice Owls equals 49. Austin equals 72. And the game was tied at 72 at the end of regulation. And we're talking about like Texas, who's like a top 15 or top 10 team against Rice, who's like a nobody team. And what was interesting is that if Rice had pulled off the upset, both teams would have been 7-2. Rice did end up losing in overtime, but they did cover. And I know you often say, like, if a team's a big underdog and they have a good role to win, there's a good reason to think that they'll cover. And the interim coach for Texas has been a coach at other places before. He stayed on 156 losses, and University of Texas at Austin equals 156. And so just to like go back to what that other guy or what other people are saying about like how can you script sports, like we're talking about like Texas is big time college basketball, but Rice, like they're not really known for sports, and like even games involving them are scripted by the numbers. And then the second thing that I wanted to bring up was yesterday, Alex Ovechkin scored his 800th career NHL regular season goal. First off, Alex Ovechkin equals 129, which is, of course, 201 base 8. And 800, if written out as a word, equals 201. And 800 goals equals 177. So you have three Jesuit connections there. And, of course, he was drafted on the date that's normally the 177th day of the year. It was June 26, 2004. 2004 is a leap year, so it was the 178th day of the year. But June 26th, normally 177th day of the year. And it's also 56 state numerology. And on the pattern of 3 equals 56, he scored a hat trick last night, so 3 goals. And he became the third player in NHL history to score 800 goals. And it was on the day leaving, 18 days left in the year. This is his 18th season in the league, and Washington, D.C. equals 61 to 18th prime.
They just love that 3 in 56. It's just like tonight with the tornado in the New Orleans area. They had to say 3 people were dead, and then the one person they talk about was a 56-year-old. It's just like, this stuff just never stops, man. They just got to code all their propaganda the same way. So,
right. And something else, Rambo was talking about the TCU stadium is sometimes named Hell's Half Acre. So I actually live here in Fort Worth, and I was looking up Hell's Half Acre. It was the name of a former neighborhood part of downtown that's now the convention center. So maybe I should go check that out. And also another thing, you'd mentioned that Argentina was the last team to advance out of the round of 16. They weren't the last team to advance out of round of 16. I think they were the second team. But they're the last team on the first day of the round of 16. But no, I think they were. The first game of the round of 16 was.
Well, the reason I've been saying that, I have the headline saved. I have the headline saved from CNN. That's how CNN reported it.
Well, maybe it's also that, like, at the time that they reported that they're the last team to advance the round, or was it to the round of 16 or out of the round of 16?
I think out of that round.
Okay, because they were. I mean, I'll have to go back and look at the schedule. I'm pretty sure they were the second team to advance out of the round of 16, but maybe at the time that they reported it, they were the last team. So I don't know.
Yeah, I got that information from CNN's headline. It's archived on my website. I can go back and look for it, but that's why I thought that. Okay. All right.
All right. And I also just one last thought. Because what other people were saying, like, yeah, sports was kind of hard for me to give up, but I think we all just need to have some hard truths in our life. And I was able to, it wasn't immediately that I was able to get over it, but I was able to get over it.
Sure. By the way, the guy I was talking to in the auto shop today, he was listening for a long time, and I noticed after like we got done talking for a minute, he like left and went to the bathroom. I was like, well, I was hoping like I didn't upset him or something from the information. He's like, this stuff's kind of dark, and then he like went to the bathroom a few minutes later. So I was like, hope I didn't mess up this guy's day. But anyway, appreciate it, Evan.
All right, I'll let some other callers get on.
All right, yeah, take care, man. Okay, now there's been a gentleman who's been waiting patiently in the room for a long time, so I'm going to bring him on right now because he's been waiting longer than any of the people on hold have been on. What's up? Is it Rob?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, thanks for being so patient.
Oh, no worries. I just had a question. Couple of questions. Any thoughts on the Jordan Trophy?
On the what?
The Jordan Trophy.
The NBA changed something, didn't they? I heard about this vaguely, but I didn't look into it. All right, hold on. Let me pull it up. So tell me what it was again that they did.
They changed the MVP trophy to Jordan, and all the statistics around that trophy are just like Gematria.
Okay, so here's my initial thoughts about this right here. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. The Gematria of Michael Jordan's name. Michael Jordan is 59 years old right now, and this is the 76th anniversary of the NBA, and Michael Jordan is 59 forward, 76 in reverse. So I'm sure that's part of it. And we know
something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I love when you do those rundowns when you like Michael Jordan is 113, Kobe Bryant is 113. Can you do that with 111, 122, 58, and 157 as they relate to Kobe and Jordan?
Well, okay, so Kobe Bryant's 58, like Los Angeles Lakers. You said 111? I don't. So if you read out basketball game and the NBA Finals, they both have Gematria 111, but that number's huge in New York. So there might have been some rituals with Kobe and Jordan in games they played in New York, maybe. But off the top of my head, I can't think of anything just specifically for those two in 111 outside they both won a lot of finals. You said 58, 111. I heard you say 157, which is the 37th prime. Both Los Angeles and Chicago equal 37. Of course, Bryant equals 26 forwards, 37 in reverse, dead on the 26th day of the year on the 37-year anniversary of Bear Bryant. And what was the other number you asked me for? 122?
Which is
122.
Kobe scored 81.
Yeah. So 122. All right. All right. Remember, that was Kobe's 666th game, 666. And he scored 81. The reason I put San Francisco up here, San Francisco equals 122, like Satanic. The Satanic Church was founded in San Francisco, the city on the 122nd meridian. The other night, the Warriors, Steph Curry made like 1 million three-pointers in the game, and they became 12-2 at home, upsetting Boston, who was the favorite that night. But 122 has this Satanic connection. Kobe, in his 666th game, scored his career high of 81, and knows how Mark of the Beast is 54 and 81, just like his full name, Kobe Bean Bryant. So, also he's from Philadelphia. There's the letter written to the Church of Philadelphia in the Bible about the synagogue of Satan. And Jordan did play his last game in Philly. And for people who forget,
76.
Yeah, exactly, the 76ers. So for people who forget,
email. Right after I found out that Jordan Trophy came out, and I sent it from now on, I really announced it on here, because people will go like nuts. But if you get a chance, check it out. And then it all relates to what I'm asking about these numbers. If you go back through and you do the Gematria on Jordan, Kobe, and all their relations to each other, and a Gulf Stream, all of that. So,
You know what? You know what's funny? I see what else they did about this. So Jordan's birthday is February 17th, which is the 48th day of the year, and they did this on the day leaving 18 days left in the year. So they did this 66 days before his birthday. And again, Bulls, the team that people remember him playing for, 66 in the most simple cipher. A lot of 66 rituals go down with the Bulls. So Yeah, in my mind, I'm a little bit sore. We had a really great day on the weekend, and the only game that didn't come through was like the strongest looking riddle of the day, which was the Bulls-Mavericks game where there was a big fat 66 that didn't come through, which normally does with the Bulls. But case in point, that's always a big number with the Bulls. What do you know? They're naming it the Jordan Trophy 66 days before his birthday. So
Yes, sir. And again, with that 59 in his name and the same number, or not the same number, but Kobe's number is 41. Something might be happening before the 17th of February, 23.
Yeah, that's right. Jordan's upcoming birthday this year is in 23. And again, for the people out there who are new, like last year, I gave you guys 4 straight. Well, actually, if you watch that stream, I gave you like 10 winners on it. But again, I put out a video for free to everybody because the Bulls had 4 straight games at home, and they were going to finish that streak of 4 games on the eve of Jordan's 59th birthday, and the Bulls were 19-8 at home. I said, look, they'll win their next 4 games. They'll be 23-8 at home as Jordan turns 59. Don't forget Kobe's birthday is 23/8, and Kobe Bryant equals 113 in the same cipher as Michael Jordan. But what's that?
Type in Gulfstream.
Gulfstream. Okay, it's got the 4158 like Kobe.
Like Jordan's playing.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. All right, I'll look more into that. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, though, because somebody actually, again, there's just so many things that I got to keep track of, but somebody did leave a comment and say, hey, Zach, look into the Jordan Trophy, and I forgot to do it, so thank you.
Yeah, it might have been me in your email.
Yeah, it might have been. I get so much information, and sometimes then I get distracted 5 minutes later, and I forget to do what I was going to do, so appreciate it.
Kobe's helicopter was a Force S-76.
Right, yep, that 76 was on it, yep. Indeed.
All
right, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
All right, have a good night, Rob. All right, he was super patient. Thank you to other people being patient. Let's get back out to the callers. And I think it's 469. What's up, 469?
Hey, Zach, how's it going?
It's going all right. How are you?
Doing okay. This is Hassan from Dallas. We met in Oklahoma earlier this year. And
I'll never forget you, man. Here's another brilliant guy. He came out, Oklahoma and Dallas. What's up, Hassan?
I wanted to make some points here. I usually don't call in unless I have good information. I usually do leave whatever information that I have when I watch the videos that you post. But just wanted to kind of go back to the World Cup and some interesting things that I found. So earlier this last month, on November 4th, what happened was there was a very popular content creator that goes, his name is Darren Watkins, but he goes by iShowSpeed. I think a lot of people who are listening tonight might know him, but he goes by Speed or iShowSpeed. Very popular guy. He's been doing YouTube and TikTok videos and streaming and all that stuff for at least for about a year now since I've known about him, but kind of just came out of nowhere. But he recently dropped a music video titled World Cup on November 4th. And this is the third, right now it's ranked the third highest music video on YouTube. The first week he came out, YouTube was posting this everywhere. They were putting this on top of everybody's feed, which is how I saw it. But what happened was I looked this person up on I knew about him. I've seen some videos and smaller videos of him on TikTok, but I've never really done any research on him. But I looked him up on Google from his birthday, and he was born on January 21st. From his last birthday in 2022 to the day that he uploaded that music video titled World Cup was exactly 41 weeks. On the dot. If I'm not mistaken, November 4th is the day leaving, 57 days left in the year, and we know about that and the location of the World Cup, Qatar. He's also, let me see here. Music videos about 4 minutes and 30 seconds, so we also know about the, 43 with football. But that's not the interesting part. I started doing a little bit more research, and he has a link on that video, that World Cup titled video, that music video. If you click on it, there's a link. So I clicked on the link, and it's a website that I believe he owns. That's where like he has all the stuff like he owns, like, his TikTok and his Spotify and YouTube and all that stuff where you can watch his content. As soon as you click on it, he has a picture that's on there of him, of him, and then he has a whole bunch of flags, world flags of the countries that were in the World Cup on him. If you click on the video and then you click on the link. But the interesting thing about that is, if you look on, because he has the flags of the countries, all over his body. But if you look all the way at the top where his shoulders are, just below the neck area, on his right side you have Argentina, and then on the left side you have France, the flags of those two countries.
I see that. Yeah, I got the picture up here, and I see it. Indeed.
So he has that on, but I don't believe there's anything, and they're parallel to each other as well too. I mean, they're right there. There's all the other teams are below them. I believe you can see Portugal and Morocco. That's also on there too. But that's just something that I picked up a couple days ago.
Yeah, that's a really great find. More predictive programming, no doubt about it.
Oh, but it's just, man. That's just the power of research. I mean,
just for the record, that song came out 44 days before the World Cup. Again, that's the big number over and over. The stadium is 44, Argentina 44. They won it 44 years ago. We know what happened to Grant Wall over the weekend in the 44 ritual. I mean, so.
Well, the other thing is, it's the day leaving 57 days, but
right.
It's also November 4th also has that 57-day numerology. But
right.
If I am not mistaken, from December 18th, the day of the World Cup final, to his upcoming birthday, the content creator that made the song World Cup, that's a span of 35 days. And, we were just talking, somebody was talking about, you made the point about Messi being 35 and, how that's coming together with the World Cup. So, but the World Cup is actually, it's on the day leaving 13 days left in the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
He releases the song 41 weeks after his birthday, and the day of the final is on the day leaving 13. We've seen this since I'm here. I moved to Dallas a few months ago, but I've known about the numbers, but I've recently seen how they come together with the Dallas football team, the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's a good thought. That's a good thought. And the World Cup did start on Joe Biden's birthday, which was the day leaving 41 days left in the year. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it started on the day leaving 41 days. Yeah. So that's 41 the 13th prime. So funny thing was, I was looking at, I saw on the news, just on the local Dallas news, they were talking about how Jerry Jones was trying to make improvements to the Arlington Stadium where the Cowboys play. And they, sometimes what they do is when they talk about a certain thing, they bring up a picture of that location or that person. And the day when they took the picture, it said right under it, April 1st, 4-1. So I was like, the Arlington Stadium, I think, equals 170. Arlington, Texas equals 179. The 41st prime number. A lot of people are talking about why they're having the stadium in Arlington. A neighbor of mine was saying that they should have it in a different city. They should have it here in Dallas. And I was explaining to him that it's not, by accident that they have it where they have it. It's not, they're not just randomly choosing. The city goes along with the stadium and the location of and the football team and just a lot of stuff that goes together in that one location. So they can't just set it up wherever they want. So.
Indeed. Yeah. Really great finds, Hassan. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. That's just the point I wanted to make, and maybe we can, maybe make something out of that before the World Cup and see what happens.
Yeah, I'll take more of a look at that. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, have a good night. Thanks, friend. All right, shout out to Hassan. Let's go out to 661.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Zach.
Yeah, what's going on?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. Okay, thanks for taking my call. Have you heard of the movie called The Tomorrow War?
Is that the one where Tom Cruise keeps like dying and coming back?
No. This is one that came out last year. It's with Chris Pratt.
Okay.
And basically, it's about time travelers that come back from the year 2051 to 2022 to fight aliens. Aliens who basically cannibalize the Earth's population. And the weird thing about it is they have a scene from World Cup in Qatar 2022.
Really?
And they have, yes, and in the scene, it's basically like the kickoff of like the war. And it's the final, and it actually takes place around Christmas time. It's in December. And so they knew, I don't know, obviously they've known that Qatar was going to have the World Cup at least 6 years ago or 8 years ago. I forget when they did they do a lottery, but I forget when they did that. They've known for a while. But in this movie, they say it shows the final. It shows like Brazil colors uniforms, but obviously Brazil's not in the final. But there's a point where the player's about to take the penalty kick, and he's got his jersey number is 18, and then we know that the final is going to be on the 18th, right?
Right.
Yeah, so maybe look into that, the Tomorrow War. There's a few decodes out there about it. I just found out about it. I just thought I'd throw that out there because that's a real trip. Also, on the logo of the World Cup, the background logo, not the little meta-looking infinity symbol, but on the background behind that, if you look closely, you'll see that there's a 66 on there. It's clear. It's a 66. And to me, that just represents us, basically, like the world population. If you're talking about it like biblically or whatever, you have the third of the angels were thrown down to earth, and the 66% came later, which is like us, human beings that aren't evil. So I think like they are gunning for the 66 right now. That's why we're seeing a lot of 66. They're gunning for the 2/3, not the fallen angels, but the rest of us. At any rate, the World Cup probably has to be the biggest ritual of all, especially this one in 2022. I mean, hey, it was founded by the Freemasons. Look it up. The FA in England was founded at the Freemasons pub. It was a bunch of Freemasons that made the rules. They made the field. They made the 11 versus 11. They made the sacred geometry on the field. They organized all of that. So, and the game does come out of human sacrifice. It comes from Shrovetide, which evolved into rugby, but it began with decapitating people's heads and throwing them through a concrete hoop on the bank of a river. It's called Shrovetide. But the one last thing real quick that I was going to add about this was that the name Qatar, if you go into the Strong's Concordance, there's two entries for Qatar. There's Qatar 1, which is 6,999, and that means burnt sacrifice or smoke or fumigation. And then there's Qatar 2, which means to enclose in. So anyways, just thought I'd throw that out there and see what you thought about those.
Very interesting. So I guess you have the Amazon Prime streaming service that films on it. I hadn't heard of it before, but interesting. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and then the Strong's Concordance with burnt offering or burnt sacrifice for Qatar in Hebrew. That's pretty crazy. And also the 6,000, basically the 7,000, because it comes in Strong's Concordance at 7,000. 7,000 is basically the 6 millennia plus plus another 1,000 years of Christ's reign on earth. That's what the 6,000. The 6,000 is the 6,000 years up to when Christ returns, and then there's going to be another 1,000 years of God's kingdom on earth, according to the Bible, of what I know about it. But so it's interesting that Qatar has that Strong's Concordance number of 7,000.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate all that. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Have a great night. Thanks a lot.
Have a good night. Yeah, him bringing that up just reminds me that 86 is all over the game. It's not always a pretty number. Think about Hiroshima. Let's go out to 479. What's up, 479?
Hey, Zach, how's it going?
Just so you know, there's only 30 seconds before the music comes on and it ends the show. So go quick. You get to close us out tonight.
Okay. Well, I just want to hear your thoughts on the college football playoff and the Super Bowl.
Do the Gematria Championship and then look at what can happen to the records. Look in the most simple cipher. There's a pattern we talk about year after year for a whole lot of years. So, all right, guys, the music is about to kick in. If that was a major clue right there. I pretty much told you the answer, so try it out. Gematria Championship. We'll be back next week. All right, I got to end this. Let's see. Again, you guys, just take the Gematria Championship in the most simple cipher. To double check to make sure you got the same number, type out Super Bowl 2. You should see that it's the same number for both. And then take a look at those playoff team records and see what could happen in that college football playoff. Who has the ultimate championship riddle? Talking about the same number year after year after year after year. I'm talking about the same thing every year with championships. In fact, Script Unveiled even brought out how that number could work in France's favor, which I'm hoping he's not right about. Yeah, here, let me say thank you to the Super Chatters real quick, and also thank you to the people who chipped in Cash Apps. I think we generated about $50 during the show, which I appreciate. It's almost as good as minimum wage out here. Sarah the Sullivan, thank you again. $10, appreciate it. Kevin Washington chipped in 11. Thank you again, Kevin. And Clarence chipped in another 2. Appreciate you. And then I think the super chats all came in at the beginning of the show. Let's see here. All right, Mike chipped in 5. He said, I am really enjoying reading number games. I plan on buying more of your books, Zach. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Shark chipped in another $5. I just can't stop this man. I don't know if he won the lottery again this week. What's up, Shark? Shark chipped in 5 and said, much appreciation for you, Teacher Zach. Thanks again, Shark. Much appreciation for you. Bex chipped in 20 D double Ks. I wish I was more up on my currencies, but I do appreciate the D double Ks. And he said, plain and level support. Appreciate that. And then Snake Eater 75 came through with the big 20. He said, without Zach, I would still be half asleep. I doubt that. I think you got to be, yeah, I guess you said, well, maybe you got to be at least half awake to catch on to what I'm talking about. And Amy, to crack their code, chipped in $10. Thanks again, Amy. She said, oh yeah, she said, get rid of Gematria decodes. I think Charmed One must have blocked him because I didn't see him. Yeah, he was also leaving. That's the same guy that was leaving the really dumb comments before the show started. Amy, to crack their code, even chipped in another $5. I don't even know where she has time to donate. She's doing so many posts over at her website, cracktheircode.org, but she chipped in another 5 and said, navigate to settings. In settings, select phone option. Scroll down to and tap on silence unknown callers. Oh, hold on. I'm going to do that right now. Hold on. Yeah, I wish I would have known this earlier because this guy just kept calling all day. Well, maybe I'll do this when we're not on here. Oh, good thing I am looking at the phone because here's DK Stonewood. What's up, DK?
Yeah, I called you right at the beginning of the show. I don't know if you were, if you saw, but that's what I was going to tell you. Get the 509 number and go to settings, phone, and silence unknown callers. And then I put it in the chat, but I had to leave for a while. I told people in the chat to just repeat that so you saw it.
Okay. So I'll figure out where the setting is. I'm not seeing the phone option.
It's way down. Keep going way down. Phone is way down, like towards the bottom.
Okay.
It's green. and it'll just say phone.
Oh, I see it. Okay. That
Yeah,
green helped me out.
You'll see, you've got to scroll down and it'll say,
Silence unknown callers is now on.
Yep.
The more you know. Yeah, I was just thinking, like, what a loser this guy is to just sit here and just call me all day over and over. I mean, God.
It's possible it's a call board. That's why when you answer it, nobody answers that. So they're setting a call board to do it for them, you know?
Yeah, that could be it. But yeah, how pathetic.
Just to waste your time.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. All right, well, problem solved. Thank you. Anything else going on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like probably missed about an hour so far of the show, but I got some good callers. I heard Rambo, and then the guy with the chessboard, Messi, Ronaldo, and then Script Unveiled, and then this last guy I heard as well. So those were just the callers that I did hear. Seemed like there's some good callers tonight.
Indeed. Indeed.
I don't know, did Script Unveiled mention that Argentina's playing all 5 of their games in the same stadium, which is strange.
The 44 Stadium, how fitting.
Yeah, so, and then, yeah, the guy about the movie Tomorrow War, that's a good one, you should watch that. But the one you were thinking of was Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise, where he keeps reincarnating over and over, and then he's like, oh shit, I could master this now if I just keep repeating this shit after 100 times.
Right.
This with eyes closed.
Right.
So that was kind of an allegory of how we keep reincarnating here. If we were to have our memory of our previous incarnations, imagine how masterful we'd be after a few, you know? So that's why we have our memory wiped each time. But anyway, yeah, to get back to the World Cup, since that was the topic, just based on from like, well, let me say this first. They have all these commentators, you know, and they'll be talking about the game, just like, you know, when it's before the Super Bowl. For American sports, it's obviously more, but they'll play it up, you know, what's this guy having for breakfast? I mean, just the amount of detail they get into is just ridiculous to take your mind off that big picture that it's just rigged anyway. But, you know, they get, you know, what color socks this guy's going to wear, what he's going to write on his shoe for the game, for the NBA. I mean, it's a joke, right?
Right.
So that's the stuff that these guys that are like on the sports channels talk about. But then you have to really watch with the mainstream news, because they'll just mention it very, like, briefly, like in passing, because they're more pushing geopolitical, you know, propaganda and stuff like that. So when the main newscasters that are talking about all these stories, when they just mention it, they'll just say, and, you know, tomorrow we have, you know, Messi going for his, you know, for his first World Cup trophy or whatever. Like, the whole thing's going on. Why would you mention just the one guy? You know, and it's not even like they went over to the sports specialist where he's gonna, you know, talk about it a little bit in depth. This is just like the main guy and girl. You know, they just mention it in passing like that. So you have to watch, because it's like you say, it's all mixed together with the mainstream news and all that, and the geopolitical agenda. So forget about what these commentators are saying. Listen to like what the mainstream news is almost telling you, like who it's gonna be. You know, they're just talking about everybody wants, you know, to see Messi, and when you look online and people who really follow soccer, they're saying the opposite. Everybody's saying like this shit's so rigged for Messi. You know, even former players, like I sent you that thing, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. You know, he's like, this shit's already set up. You know, like what? You know, so, and then, you know, from a former player standpoint, like, I'll just tell you, Messi's not the best player in the world, not even close. You know, the guys that are like the best players, this guy's like Mbappe, which is like, Mbappe is like basically a new Didier Drogba from Ivory Coast. These are just like huge, strong, fast, athletic guys, you know, that are like the LeBron James, you know, like these physical specimens in the sport. Now, yes, there are other guys that aren't that huge or whatever that are still really good, and, you know, they open up the game and they pass well and all that in the midfield. I'm not doubting that, but like Messi's not nearly the best player in the world. It's I don't know why, but it's just his whole career has been, as scripted as a Tom Brady career. It's not any, and probably even more because Tom Brady's only on the American stage. This is like on a world stage, And then also from a player's perspective, it's very easy to throw a game. Very easy to throw a game where, like your own fans will look at it and say, oh, you guys played good. That was it was just bullshit what happened, or it was a bullshit call or whatever. And you won't even get called out for throwing the game. It's weird because it's so hard to score. You can just play really good in the field and pass around, but just never really do anything good on goal. And you can easily control that as a player, especially as a good player. So there's down here where I live in LA, in SoCal, the beach community, there's a Croatian Hall in downtown LA, and then there's another one kind of more in a beach town, and they had big events even cardboard cutouts of the players, and everybody comes there to watch the game and can make a shitload of money off the bar and the food and all that, right? So as a whole, Croatian people, even our women, they know the game, they know the rules. Here, in America, unless a woman's really into the sport, they won't even know the rules of football. They're like, what just happened? What's he, they don't get it really. Whereas in these smaller countries in Europe, even the women understand the sport thoroughly, the calls, and if the ref blows a call, they know it and stuff like that. So especially the younger crowd there, they knew something was wrong right away. They're like, oh, this shit's fixed. What? They can't touch the ball for 20 minutes for dominating. Messi can't even touch the ball. Then all of a sudden we forget how to play. There's a penalty, and then they score something's wrong. What's going on, And then they're like, yeah, that shit's fixed. It's just they call a penalty and it changes the whole game or whatever. I'm like, no, you guys aren't understanding. Our guys are in on it too. It doesn't work that way, when you're playing in a men's league or something and the ref's cheating, you play even harder. You get pissed because now you're playing against the ref and the other team, which has happened to, any of us who have played any kind of ball, growing up and stuff for a long time, So, and then it comes in to what you said about when you're playing, when there's no refs, when you're calling your own foul, the best guys always win, because it's the same thing, in these league games when we were playing, the refs are, they won't call fouls because, they just want to get out of there. They're getting paid per game, so they're reffing 3 games in a row. The more fouls they call, the longer into the night it's going to go. So, if you're a guy who's got a good handle and you're just driving, just slicing through their defense like butter coming into, and they're just hacking you and the ref doesn't call it, you're going to call all that if you're just playing at the gym, and everybody's going to see it. So you can't get away with that. You have to play more honest. So, I was always in the game sometimes, guys would foul me or whatever. They'd be like, I'm like, yeah, just wait till we play pickup. You're going to have to back up 3 more feet. You ain't doing that, So it's totally different when there's a control element, which would be the ref, which is always why they're in, black and white checkers or stripes or whatever the heck. But so, people don't understand that both sides got to be in on it. A lot of these players got to be in on it. There's, the key players, they have to be in on it for that to happen. And then they think about it for a second. They're like, wait a minute. I'm like, yeah, so they're selling, you got your heartstring, you got your whole family down here. You're going to spend $100 at the bar and whatever. And then you're going to go home all pissed off. You guys drove down here with Croatian flags, hanging out the sunroof and shit. And, you don't realize that the guys that are playing on our national team are in on it too. And then, then they just then it's all quiet, So, but yeah, in general, Argentina's nowhere near the best team. So they shouldn't even be in the final. I mean, they couldn't even be in the first game with Saudi Arabia, which I'm sure that game's rigged too. But, and then the game started and the commentators are like, yeah, this doesn't look good so far for Argentina. The Croatian team's just way bigger and stronger than them, and just they're not able to get the ball, and so it was just funny. And then all of a sudden, the people were out there what's going on now all of a sudden?
Hey, somebody has a comment in the chat. They think that the proof that the game couldn't be rigged is that Ronaldo was crying when he lost. Do you think that's proof that it's not a rig, that Ronaldo was crying?
I'll get to that in a second. I wanted you to pull that up.
Well, I was going to make the point, I guess that guy's never seen an actor before, because, again, good actors can make themselves cry on command, and these guys are paid like actors.
That was going to be my final point going from the World Cup into my next topic. So, pull that up. So, Ronaldo acts like he's crying, walking off, right? And then the reason why they got Messi and Ronaldo in that picture playing chess, and I said that set up for Messi in that, and I'm like, hey, it's his turn next, because he's going to lose that chess match right there. It's not a chess match meaning like Argentina and Portugal are going to be in the final against each other. It's which player they're going to use for the ritual and whose team they're going to push forward. So I think Ronaldo is next in line, even though I think maybe he may be a little bit older than Messi right now. So
I think he'd be 41 for the next World Cup, if I'm not mistaken, which is the World Cup number.
Yeah, so he's older than Messi by like 2 or 3 years. So anyway, Ronaldo's acts like he's crying, and he's totally fine on the field. Then he's about to walk into the tunnel. Like right when he gets by the fence, he acts like he's crying, puts his hand over his eyes. Can't even do it good just like that. So he has to put his hands over his eyes. But the camera follows him. It follows him all the way into the tunnel. And then he takes his hand off his eyes and he's busting up laughing. Pull it up. When I saw that, I was like, oh my God, dude. On the way out over his eyes and like his mouth.
I hit the wrong button and exited out of the broadcast instead of pulling that up. Hold on.
Yeah, they followed him all the way into the tunnel, all the way till he thought he was past everything, which he was, but the camera was right beside him and he takes his hand down and he's just cracking up laughing. So I was like, wow, it's so bad. But yeah, I mean, obviously the Croatian team is not very good actors either. They just stopped playing like that. You know, those people were like, what's going on? I'm like, yeah, this is what you call bad acting right here. You know, they get pissed. They act good for 20, 30 minutes, and then they start just getting lazy. You know, just like bad acting. There's not, in soccer, you got to run the whole time. It's not like on a movie set where you cut every minute and then you could just chill. So, yeah, well, that's what you call bad acting.
Okay. Well, some people, that's all it takes to convince them it's real, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear sirens. Sorry, I'm driving. Let me just see what's going on. No, nothing. Let them go around me. So, yeah, I think that's all. What was Rambo saying? There's something I wanted to say about what Rambo said. I can't think of it right now. One thing I want to mention to people have been seeing a bunch of ambulances driving around with their sirens off. Like, I see them all the time now. And I heard it's because they don't want people to know that, you know, a bunch of people are flopping off from the Mark of the Beast vaccine. So they're just driving around with sirens off. I'm kind of in a bad area right now, so they had to have their sirens off. But normally, when there's not bad traffic, they just drive with their lights. No siren, and people just pull over for them. So I wonder if other people are noticing that as well. What I really wanted to talk about, man, it's already late now. What I really wanted to talk about was like money, since we're talking about all this like gambling and all that stuff, and like what money is. Like, I'll start to get into it, see how will I go before I arrive at this location. So like, it would seem weird right off the bat when you tell people there's no such thing as money. It doesn't actually even exist. Even though you can hold like the paper in your hand, or like, you know, go pray with the credit card off numbers on a computer screen, but money doesn't actually exist. It's just a medium they're using to control relationships, the way we relate toward each other. Because like the guy was saying, this guy's not the richest man in the world, and, you know, obviously not. So, you know, when certain guys can print money, or this, you know, this imaginary thing, and we all agree that it's real, then it controls the way we relate to each other. You know, like even parents to children, and, you know, friends, and this is the only way that you can get people to do bad shit for you. You know, how are you going to have a military? How are you going to have police? How are you going to have, you know, people protecting politicians we know that are lying and all this stuff unless you pay them? You know, so like, you know, I mean, what would stop somebody like me or you going up to, you know, a politician's house and dragging them out on their own lawn and just putting them up on a stake and lighting a fire under it? You know, who would stop that? Well, you know, people that are, you know, on salaries. So, you know, that wear Kevlar and are dressed like, you know, Batman in the street. So, you know, you need to have a system to pay people to do bad stuff for you. So this is why, you know, money was created, and, you know, to just quell the, you know, the notion that money came about as a natural process from like barter and trade over time, because it became an easier commodity to like just carry around with you, is bullshit. Because we have the proof of the first money. It's actually clay Sumerian tablets. And when I say Sumerian tablets, I'm not talking about like the Enuma Elish, the 7 tablets of creation, which is kind of infamous because a fake Jewish guy named Zechariah Sitchin mistranslated them and created some whole, you know, crazy, nonsensical theory. So, but there's a few different like things. There's the Sumerian Kings list. There's the Sumerian tablets of creation, which is most talked about. But what people never talk about is the Sumerian money. It's the first money ever, and there's still pictures of it on the internet. It's clay tablet money, so you make it out of like dirt and water, and you just need like a master mason to create a stone stamp for you, so you could stamp, you know, these clay bars, so, you know, nobody else could duplicate it. That was like the counterfeiting, you know, protocols back then. So you would really need to have like master masonry skills in order to make that stamp, because it was fairly intricate. Just like right now, it's on special paper, and, you know, the special ink, when you turn it, it changes colors and blah, blah. So, you know, they when they had the first money, it shows in the other Sumerian tablets, like the Enuma Elish, what was going on and who like was ruling at the time. And it was, you know, these larger beings. You know, they looked humanoid, but their faces didn't look humanoid. That's how they're drawn on the, you know, on the petroglyphs. So hold on, let me get some water. So, you know, the humans had to give offerings and all this stuff to these beings, and then there was about to be a rebellion, and these beings who are controlling knew that they would lose, because just on sheer numbers, if all the people got together and just wouldn't do their bidding for them anymore, which it was slavery by just sheer force. And well, that rebellion, they came out with money and they said, listen, we're not gonna beat and kill you guys anymore or whatever to work for us. We're just gonna give you, after a day's work, you can work as hard as you want or not work at all, you know, and then based on how much you produce, you're gonna get these clay tablets, and then you can go exchange these clay tablets later for stuff that you want, you know, because it was like men and women were separated at the time, so they were controlling the population and the repopulation, because if you're separating men and women, it's a lot harder for them to get together to have children. So the only way you could like pull that off would be to sneak away while you're during the day out in the field working or whatever, you know, you kind of like somehow get together. But they would have the women doing certain tasks and men out doing other tasks, so it was like totally separated. So you couldn't even have your like family or whatever. And then once they allowed these clay tablets, the people were still separated, but the men started, they got some of like the younger women and they made them like, you know, like prostitutes. So now that these men who were really working hard for these rulers who were getting a lot of clay tablets at the end of the day, so they could come pay these women, these girls, young girls with these clay tablets for sex. And so that's why like prostitution is the first occupation, because they were the first ones actually getting paid by other slaves. there was no money before that, so you couldn't pay anyone for anything really except give them goods to trade with. So that's what happened. That's how even prostitution came about. And then these guys could buy better food. Instead of the food they were just giving the slop in the slave camp, like in the jail food, they could buy more exotic foods like meats and stuff like that, and those became like the rich, and then like just like it shows you in the and They Live, where the guys up there talking about, okay, you the human elite, and that would be like a politician up there telling them that, and then behind that politician is some Jesuit who controls them, which they don't really show in They Live. But that this is how like it boils down. So like once they had people going on the money, the clay tablet money, there was no reason anymore to keep everyone like confined in a jail, because now you're like, they got to keep coming back for these clay tablets because they're getting stuff with it. So now we can even give them days off. They could go on their little slave vacation. We can let them buy their own little slave house outside the jail, and then those become the rich guys, and then they see all the all the benefits they're getting, so they work as like the enslavers of the rest. And then those would be the people that have been kind of hired all throughout history, like Roman centurions and that would become like a military later. They would be like, well, listen, you got all this money now, we need forces to protect all that because these people are going to get jealous. So throughout thousands of years, and that Sumerian clay tablet money, that's only 6,500 years ago. So we've only had money for that short of a period as long as humans have been here. So this is how the whole control system has only stemmed from the last 6,500 years, and it's all because of the guys that are printing the clay tablet money, which is dirt and water. Now we have paper and ink, which is also worthless. So this is kind of how it's trickled down to. And then once they started letting people kind of be free, like free range slaves, like we're called now, because they got to keep coming back for the clay tablet money, so they're always going to be your slave. So then like if you want to take your family on your little slave vacation now, you're going to need like a horse and a wagon to put all your shit in and your kids, and then you could go. I mean, you're not going to take your little vacation, in the desert where you're working or whatever in the mountain. You're going to go somewhere nice away from all that. So, the further you want to go, and the more supplies you're going to need to bring, just like when you go camping or something, So if you want to go further, you're going to need load up your car with more shit, more food. So then you're going to need a bigger wagon. It's going to be heavier. You're going to need more horses. And then, if you want to cross all this terrain, you're going to need a wagon with like big wheels. The small wheels get caught on rocks. So, you want a wagon with big ass wheels and like, some strong horses to pull it. So that was what people wanted. And then now, you ask give like a 21-year-old kid like $1 million, what's the first thing they want to get is a car with big ass rims and a lot of horsepower. So we have not gone anywhere since the 6,500 years ago shit that they gave us. We're still like lusting after the same things. It's just been convoluted through many layers of stuff. And then you have a lot of these families that are just living off of like what we call like CIA credit cards or whatever. I know some of these people who have like stores and malls like right on the corner where it's like, the most traffic and all of that. And, the lease would be $50,000 a month there, and that would be like, normally it's like Apple or, these big chains. So if you're like somebody who's going to get one of those corner stores, you're not just like me or you who just created some like clothing line and we're blowing up and they won't give us that spot. It doesn't work like that, I know someone who's Jewish, and they kind of turned on their own, and she's like, man, I had stores every airport. I had like, she was like a multi-millionaire with multiple $1 million homes and all that. Everything was, she's like, there was always money for everything back then. I would get approved for any loan, and then now it just, they collapsed everything on me. Start closing, the lease is up, got to move all your shit, and, just start closing up shop on you. So, the reason why certain people like us pay mortgages and then others are building skyscrapers in Times Square is because certain people have the right to print money and others are using it. So that's the whole system. So they control the way we relate to each other just through this like black magic paper now. there's families that get split apart, and then, one parent has money and the other one doesn't, and they could financially totally take over the child by giving them everything or by using the money to push the other one away with lawyers. And, it could change so many things. And and the way we let's just say like a woman, there could be like a nice guy, super nice guy who's, knows like martial arts, he could protect her, and he's a good guy, but he doesn't have any money. The girl's not even looking at him, she's looking at some other, you know what I mean? So it's like it changes. Our whole entire society is based on it. We're totally like under a black magic spell of this money before we even get to the next level of what's going on, so, and we're like at the bottom end of it here, trying to make a little bit of money here and there. As far as your information goes, off all the rigging, so just imagine how many levels of bullshit we're under.
Yeah, exactly. That's the reality. Money controls everything in this world. And that's why when people call are like, how do you rig a sports game? It's like, look how much these guys are getting paid. That their priority isn't to win the game. Their priority is to continue to make their contract, whether it's $10 million a year or $30 million a year, God knows what some of these guys are getting paid.
Even that's what I was trying to say. Even the guys on our own team. You guys don't get that? These guys are making fucking Luka Modric plays for Real Madrid, dude. He's making like $30 fucking million a year, dude. Are you fucking kidding me right now? And they're just like, just like Ronaldo or these other guys for their, they don't, it doesn't matter. These uniforms, they played in 100 teams already in their lives. They worn every color uniform. It doesn't matter. The Portuguese national team is just another color uniform. They don't give a fuck. They know it's all bullshit. I know for sure, because playing in like lower end pro games, we got a game coming up and I'm playing on a team for loan, and they're like, okay, so we're playing against these guys. I don't really know anything about the team. I know the team name. They're like, yeah, they got this guy. He's supposed to be all world, blah, blah, blah. He's going to go to this team. Okay, sweet. Hey, coach, how about this? Let me just play floater tonight. I'll just shadow this guy. Just let's see how I personally want to see how good he really is. And he's like, okay, sure, go ahead. So we'll play this formation to allow for, you to float around. First half, this guy's touched the ball 3 times. 3 times this guy's touched the ball. He's supposed to be all world. And I'm absolutely nobody from America politically. Americans don't play soccer. So over there, I'm just like as good as nobody. So then their coach comes over, the assistant coach told me later that their coach comes over into the tunnel later at halftime to talk to our coach. He's like, dude, we're trying to showcase this guy to sell him to this. What the fuck are you doing? And he's like, oh, okay, sorry. We'll change our formation. So he came and told me, he goes, hey, I'm going to put you at left wing and then maybe sub you out after like 15, 20 minutes if you get tired. And I was like, what? Okay. The guy, 10 minutes into the second half, this guy's already got 2 goals now. I'm like, what the fuck? Doesn't make no sense. The guy couldn't even touch, because you could completely eliminate a player in soccer. It's not like basketball where you could just ISO the guy one-on-one, and it's not like that. It's a huge field. It's so hard to score. You could just shadow the guy from ever getting a pass. It's cheap kind of to play like that, but sometimes teams will do that. Like if a guy's like, if he's too much of the team's game, that you could put 1 guy to shadow him or 2 guys in his area that just won't let him get any passes. So it's like you just totally eliminate him out of the game. And that's what the coach was trying to say from the other team. Is like, dude, we both are running the same show here. We're a small-time team trying to make money selling players that are up and coming to these bigger teams. Here I got a guy, and you're over here fucking shadowing and can't touch the ball. Fucking, he looks like he's never played before. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So he goes, yeah, okay. So right away you're like, that makes absolutely no sense. Or same thing like, when my brother was got scouted, got a scholarship to Kansas for basketball, they were looking at another guy. Who ended up going to like Utah State or something, some like 6'3" black guy. And my brother hit like 7 threes from like 30 feet, just, hitting the rafters up there so much art, just breaking the net. They're like, fuck this, who's this? We need this guy who can shoot. Like, who's this guy? And then he ends up getting the scholarship. So shit like that would be happening on a regular, but it does at a low level. But once you get to the top, then all of a sudden they're allowing these guys just to piddle around with the ball in the middle of the field. Nobody even like nudges them a little bit with their shoulder and like, oh, this guy's all world. Look at, he could just dribble the ball around. Nobody could take it from him. And then like when it's honest, like pickup ball, you dribble it one time like that, you just get nudged by somebody stronger and you're off the ball. Either you're going to call a foul or you continue playing. Refs most of the time won't even call a foul. In soccer, shoulder to shoulder, it's considered fair. If you really overpower like football them, they'll call it. But if you're stronger and you shoulder the guy off the ball, it's just the way it goes. So anyway, I think that's about it for tonight.
All right, DK. Interesting as always. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All righty. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Have a good night. All right. Take care. There was a gentleman who jumped in the stream, but he jumped out before DK was finished. I was going to let him on. Rob also came back on. Let me see if Rob had any closing thoughts. Rob, did you want to come back on?
I had one more question for you. The number 59. Can you give me a rundown on 59?
Okay, so 59, I typically talk about it in regards to Black History. Like Black History Month ends on the 59th day of the year, February 28th. Motown came out in 59, and the most simple cipher, slave, Negro, blues, Rasta, they're all 59. Remember, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, all those words are 76, kind of like how Michael Jordan's name is 59 and 76. Barack Obama equals 76. He put out his book, A Promised Land, which equals 59 and 76. And it came out on the day leaving 44 days left in the year. And like he was number 44, and the 44th book of the Bible is Acts. And Acts 7:6 is about the 400 years of slavery. But typically I talk about 59 in regards to Black history, but it has other meanings. Freemasonry equals 59. It's the 17th prime number. Mason equals 17. Modern Freemasonry was created in the year 1717. And then 59 years later, this nation was created. And then even the phrase Independence Day equals 277, which is the 59th prime number. And then I also talk about it in regards to Pope Francis. His name equals 59, and Benedict stepped down on the 59th day of the year for him. And then the 59th presidential election is the one Biden just won, and Biden became number 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, winning the 59th election. And the only Catholic president before Biden was John F. Kennedy, whose name equals 59. But typically when I'm talking about that number, it's in regards to Black history. So often when a Black celebrity's dead in the headlines, it'll happen like on a 59 date or 59 days from their birthday, et cetera, et cetera. So those are those are like the three big 59 things. If it's Black history, if it's Freemasonry, or if I'm talking about Pope Francis, that's usually where it's coming up.
Cool. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah.
I want to ask, did you get a chance to watch that? Actually, about this thing called What is Behind the White House? Thurman's Room.
Who's it by?
Did you get a chance to watch that?
Who's it by?
Thurman's Room.
I got to look that up. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. For all those non-believers out there that don't understand gematria and think it's sport, this goes way deeper than that. And I think you would be able to tie all the in and figure all the people that don't understand it.
Yeah. I'll take a look at that. I'm always looking for something good to watch, so I'll check that out. I appreciate it.
I think it's about 30 minutes.
Oh, perfect. Not even that long. Okay.
Yeah.
What's behind the White House?
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Thanks,
all right, Rob. Have a good one.
You too, man.
Take care. All right, and we got another gentleman who wants to come on. What's up?
Yo, Zach. What's going on, brother? I've been wanting to hop on your live stream for a while. I'm not a critic for anything. You're God-given talent, man. You're not going to be appreciated as much as you should. And I just wanted to say a couple things because I'm an astrologer, right? And I just joined your Patreon not too long ago, like the sports bet, and I see the correlation you make a lot of times when you're referencing, the moon days, Mars moves on Tuesday, this and the third. And I have a lot of peers that sports bet, and I try to put them on to the numbers and the science, and I'm still learning myself. I'm still learning, understand how to decode on my own. And it's just crazy how you get the fluorides there, really trying to pass the knowledge and wisdom around. And I've been seeing. I've already kind of have a grasp with sports betting, and once I hop on your Patreon, I see how much trolls you have on the
page. They're there all day, every day, man. That's their job.
And it's crazy. You know, I even caught myself arguing.
Yeah, for anybody who signs up for my Patreon. By the way, that's why I also set up a sports thing on the other platform on the freetofindtruth.com. You can also join there. It's the same price, and there's no trolls on that because I can keep the trolls off that one. I can't keep them off Patreon because the thing is, if I block them, they're like bees. They come back and they get even more active. And the thing is, if you block somebody on Patreon, they get an instant refund. So then they have their money right away to sign up again, which is like, why did Patreon set it up this way? But yeah, for anyone, don't even engage with those trolls because they're just, you can't do anything about them. But they're there 24/7, 365, and it's obvious. The reason they're there is to destroy the community that we were trying to build a community there at first and just have communication and help each other out. They just went in and sabotaged the whole thing, and they're an unstoppable force.
Yeah, it's crazy in there, but I really just wanted to get straight to the point and just say, I just did a breakdown live stream. I'm not even trying to promote my brand like that.
You can promote your brand. I'd let people come on here and promote themselves. You got something to promote? Come on and promote it.
I'm just anybody that's into astrology, you may just find my content, my page, so that's for y'all. But
hold on, is your page just like your name, Boro the Lucky Libra?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'll put it up here. Is that a YouTube page?
Yeah, it's a lot. That's my brand on everything. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram.
Okay, so you're everywhere.
And I basically just finished the live stream breaking down astrical alignments revolving around Tory Lanez and the Megan Thee Stallion case. And I just seen certain alignments that took place on the day, July 12, 2020, where Saturn was basically having friction with the sun. Okay. Tory Lanez name, Daystar Peterson, the light bringer, all right. And then Saturn doesn't necessarily reflect light, all right. And then when I looked at the date for the case starting this week, it started on a moon day. On Monday, the moon was in Leo. Now, Daystar, Tory Lanez, he's a Leo sun. Aquarius, Megan Thee Stallion, she's a Leo moon. So you just see the astrological gaps where they work any type of ritual or whatever it is. So that's why I'm just really trying to soak up as much with Gematria. I already feel like I'm getting a little bit more developing more clarity. It seems astrological that's taking place, but I know everything's going to be hitting numbers and whatnot. So that was one thing I just want to say, and I also wanted to just shed some light on another astrologer metaphysical teacher that's been talking about Gematria for the longest. I just thought that you would find his content intriguing. His name is Dolo, the pilot man. So he's been speaking that he's the first person I heard about Gematria from, and he don't give a fuck about sports. He's talking about straight government politics. He's getting straight out the powers that be. I guess it kind of goes over people's head because it's like sometimes to get the attention, you got to attach hip-hop entertainment just for people to pay attention to the science. There you go. A bunch of videos on Gematria. I heard you bring up Soul Illuminati a while ago when Kevin Samuels passed away. Trying to give him praise for possibly being enlightened. So I'm like, damn, does Zach know about Dolo? I think he'd find his content.
I didn't. I just subscribed, so I'm going to start checking him out. I didn't know.
Yeah, he's a beast. So I think everybody in the chat needs to tap in for the most part. But once again, Zach, man, appreciate everything that you're doing on Patreon. Appreciate your work. That's all I really have to say, man.
Yeah, don't even worry about those trolls. And for anyone who's just sick of the trolls on Patreon, that's why I set it up on the other platform too. If you just want to escape the trolls and try to have some successful conversations, so.
Excuse me. There's actually one more thing. I'm a big battle rap man. A huge battle rap fan. And you can't think that the entertainment world and hip hop is going to be compromised. Battle rap, which is damn near the epitome of the street rap culture, is not compromised. So there's actually some people that are hip on YouTube that are breaking down the gematria of battle rap events and whatnot. I don't know if you're aware of Or maybe I may be mistaken. I don't know if you did cover the death of Pat Stay, the battle rapper Pat Stay.
I didn't. No, I didn't. I can look at it though. Pat Stay.
Right. I'm sure there's people in the comments that's super aware of it, but this big battle rapper named Pat Stay from the UK.
Oh man, he died September 4th. So the day leaving 118 days left in the year. That's a day connected to death because death and homicide are 118 in Jewish gematria. Okay.
I think what is a standout piece of information towards his death, and I know you're going to do your research, but battle rap events are set up like boxing matches, so there's cards. So they'll have multiple battles for each event. You'll have your opening battles, and you'll have your main event battle. And the last card Pat Stay was on was a card hosted by Drake. All right. It was a card hosted by Drake, and the name of the event was Until Death Do Us Part. And in the battle, Pat Stay has bars referencing, either I forgot what the bars were, but either foreshadowing his death or it was some shit in there. If you go ahead, type in Pat Stay, Gematria, YouTube, a bunch of information is already covered. So you'll find information exact what. I just wanted to bring that to your awareness, and it's crazy how even the battle rap culture is compromised. It's just wild.
All right. Well, I appreciate that too. So yeah, thanks for making your debut on the show. I'm going to check out your channel, and thanks for supporting the Patreon, and also just giving this reference to Dolo to Pilot Man and all this. So you make me feel like Gematria is getting out there more than I knew. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care, Zach.
All right. You have a good night. All right, man. Take care. Thanks. All right. What's up, 208? You sound a little muffled tonight.
Yeah, it always makes me sound bad every time I try to join. But I'm gonna make it quick. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, what's up? Can you hear me? $208? All right, I see the chat now about the echo. My fault, you guys. I don't know why they did this on StreamYard. They changed something recently in their settings, and they created this setting to turn off the echo. But the thing was, before they created this new feature, it didn't have a problem. It wasn't causing an echo. And now it's annoying because now it's like if I want to play like a video on the screen, you can't even hear it. It mutes it out all the way. So it's like, I hate when these companies do these updates. It's like this update's not helping anything. It's like making it so it does echo when it's not on. I had to turn it off. Otherwise, you weren't going to be able to hear the callers on TFR because it was blocking out that. So sorry about the bad echo, but hopefully you guys are able to make out what he was saying. And maybe check out his channel because he seems like a very interesting guy and he's got good energy and he's got good information. So check him out, Boro the Lucky Libra. And he also said, check out channel Dolo the Pilot Man. So if you guys weren't aware, maybe give him a sub. And yeah, sorry about that. Well, I can see the chat when I look at a certain window, but I didn't have the window open for the chat while I was talking to him. I had the window up for, hold on, 208 came back. All right, what's up, 208?
Can you hear me this time?
Yeah, that's way better.
Okay, I joined on the laptop. It never works on my phone. I'm going to make it quick, though. I was commenting in the chat about the song, about the Cypress Hill song. Just earlier, I don't know if you looked up when it came out, but I looked up. That was the lead single off of the Stolen.
I remember when it came out. It was the big song for the Training Day movie, and it was like the summer of 2001.
Right. Well, you're older than me. I wasn't alive then, but it was on their Skull and Bones album, fitting for what they're talking about. And the song actually came out 56 days before the album came out. It was the lead single from that album. So that song.
Okay, you know what? I don't think I heard that song though until that movie came out because when that movie came out, Training Day, they were playing that song nonstop with it. When did the album come out?
The album released, according to Wikipedia, on April 25th, and that song was the lead single.
Was it 2001?
And yeah, 2000 or 2001.
Well, I wonder, because the Training Day came out like I want to say like August, maybe September, somewhere around there, 2001, and that song was that was the big song that was on that soundtrack.
Right. I've never even seen that movie. I'm a youngin', but yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, somebody's got the line in there. You in the office, right? That is the line from that movie. I can't believe you haven't seen Training Day. Okay.
No, maybe that's the homework from Zach tonight. Watch that movie.
Sure. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, Dr. Dre's in that movie. Denzel Washington, but I don't know if you're going to pick up. Well, I haven't watched it in forever. Maybe there is something Gematria related in there. I haven't watched that movie for 20 years. Anyway, go ahead.
No, that's not really nothing else. I don't know. I always freaking lose track of what I'm going to say right before I come on. So I don't know. But
Sure, but I saw that I put up because I heard the song on driving home today. And I was just listening, and I was like, listen to everything he's saying in this song, man. It's just like, God, it's just like we need Be Real to come on and spill the beans.
Right. I've seen him do some like he does his own podcast and stuff, and like, but I don't know. That would be, I don't know, shoot your shot. Who knows?
What's the name of his podcast?
I think it's called Hotbox. No, that's Mike Tyson's. He does something where he's like sitting in a car smoking, and he has people come on and they hotbox the car.
Yeah, by the way, I think I quit smoking weed. I haven't smoked for like 3 months. I'm going to try to never smoke again. Even though I like smoking weed, and just sweet lady's just always nagging me and like, you're ruining your lungs. So,
well, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
Yeah, indeed.
All right, well, I don't really got much else to say, but keep up the good work.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Have a good night, 208.
Yep, you too.
All right, see you, man. Yeah, again, I put up the lyrics earlier. The Cypress Hill song, Rock Superstar, man. Look at the lyrics. It's like he's telling you how it is. You thought you wanted to be a rock superstar. All right, I got to look it up now. I got to look it up, the album. He said the album was called Skull and Bones. That was right after Bush got in office. April 24, 2000. So the year that Bush got elected, before he took office, it was a leap year, 115th day of the leap year. So okay, so that song was actually on that album. I feel like, unless I'm misremembering, but I feel like that song got all the notoriety when Training Day came out. So 17th track, huh? Hold up. Training Day soundtrack. Okay, that's weird because I don't see the song on the soundtrack, but I swear to God, you go back and you watch that movie, like that was the song for the. Maybe they actually didn't put the song on the album, or on the actual soundtrack, but I remember that movie having that song highly associated with it. Okay. Interesting. Am I misremembering this? I swear to God, that song was like the preview for the movie. Weird. Woo. Sweet lady thinks I'm getting dementia. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I swear that's how it was. All right, you guys. Anyway, thank you for the stream. I hold on. I saw some other people made donations. I gotta say thank you to some other super chatters real quick before I sign off here. Let me get my final thank yous in. Nolan. Whoa, Nolan, 2 times. Nolan chipped in 5 and 20. Thank you, Nolan. Nolan wrote a message the second time and said, found your work when I was 17 or 18 and have been watching you for the past 3 years. Your work ethic and aspiration for truth is unmatched. Cheers. I appreciate that, Nolan. So that means you're 20 or 21 now. Enjoy being young, Nolan. I appreciate your generosity. Thank you. Amy said the movie came out 170 days before the final game. I'm guessing you're talking about the movie. What was it called again? The Tomorrow War? Came out in 2021. Must have been a different movie because that definitely came out 170 days. Or maybe she measured, maybe the anniversary is what she meant. I'm assuming that's what she was talking about since that was the movie that was brought up. Maybe a year and 170 days. Bamboo Soldier chipped in $2 for the veggie fund. I appreciate that. I went to my favorite grocery store today and I got the big old bag of broccoli, carrots, and cauliflower. They got the best price on it because I got this monster bag and it's only $5. Now, the downside of the bag is the vegetables aren't organic, but sometimes I got to go bang for the buck on my veggies. All right. We'll leave it there, True Seeker. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Hit the like, hit the share. And thank you also to the super chatters. Thank you to the mods. And we'll leave it there for now. Oh, also, I did see the request to cover the shooting in Australia. Thanks, because I didn't realize there was a mass shooting in Australia. Real quick for the person who asked me to cover that. Here's what stands out without even really starting the decode. Oh, here's an article. Again and again, the school shooting since Sandy Hook. I'm going to save that article for tomorrow. If I didn't end up spending all day at the car place, taking forever to get the car fixed today, I would have covered more news. But Australia shooting. Okay, so 6 killed, right? 6 killed, including 2 officers in Australian ambush siege. It happened at about 4:45. I'm surprised they didn't just go with 4:44. But the day this happened, December 12th, 2022, that date had numerology of 46 like sacrifice, but also 66. 66 date numerology, 6 killed. And of course, in Gematria, mass shooting equals 66. We were just talking about this the other night with CNN's lead story in the Walmart shooting in Chesapeake, Virginia. The woman's name who coded out to mass shooting, including 66. But yeah, mass shooting on the 66 date numerology where 6 are dead. So I'm sure there's a lot more to it, but I did just see the comment when somebody left it and was looking it up in the background, and that was the first thing that stood out to me. So I'll do a proper decode on it tomorrow, but I got to admit, I am tired. I got up extra early today, so just saw your text message, Ann and Jason. Ann and Jason were trying to let me know it was echoing real bad. I apologize, you guys. I'm gonna have to when I'm on StreamYard, I'm gonna have to remember to use that echo feature now anytime anybody joins the room. Didn't used to be that way. So, all right, guys, we'll leave it there. Until next time.